And it all comes with free shipping. Don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-329-3689 or go to bullseyeblower.com. Call 1-800-329-3689. That's 1-800-329-3689 or order online at bullseyeblower.com. Order now.
Where's your pain?
Right here.
Both knees.
Take on the pain with CopperFit Mobilizer. Hyper-advanced compression sleeves with built-in blue infrared fibers for even faster recovery and pain relief.
I'm pain-free. The swelling isn't there.
It really did work.
Powered by LumaCore. Blue infrared fibers woven into compression fabric. Increase circulation to reduce inflammation. Two powerful technologies combined to create the next generation in compression technology.
Now I'm able to do more without pain. It's life-changing to me.
Get your CopperFit Mobilizer now at mobilizer.com for only $39.99. Order now and save 25% when you buy two. Plus, your shipping is free.
Money doesn't sleep, bills don't sleep. You got to get up and go to work. The CopperFit Mobilizer was support without feeling like it was tight. It's working for me, it's going to work for you.
Get yours now at mobilizer.com.
Hello and welcome to Fox Weather First. Welcome to your Tuesday. We're coming to you live both on the Fox Business Network and Fox Weather. I'm Britta Merwin.
I don't know why I said ooh. I was excited about a Tuesday.
Ooh, hey, a Tuesday.
It's way better than a Monday, I guess. Hey there, I'm Craig Herrera. I hope you're having a great Tuesday.
Hopefully you can find something positive about it.
All right.
We have something positive about our Tuesday.
Yeah, we do. We've got something really cool. A total lunar eclipse is underway early this morning, and the moon is going to glow red for nearly an hour. Now, if you see it, we want to see your photos and your video. Just use the QR code on your screen or go to foxweather.com/connect and send us those photos of the total lunar eclipse. And we
want to see what you're seeing.
And we've got a special morning for you, too, as well. We'll hear from Marissa Torres a little bit later and special guests.
Yeah, we'll give you a look at that lunar eclipse from Florida.
Very cool.
Meanwhile, we're off to a busy start for folks that live in the Northeast, and it involves winter weather. I know. You guys are over it, but today is the last nasty day, at least for a nice stretch.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys, it's March. We live in the Northeast. We know better. But we have some really nice stuff once we get past today. So there's a live look-see across PA. Big heads up, we are concerned about freezing rain this morning in Pennsylvania. Winter weather advisories kind of kiss the 95 corridor, so not really all the way into New York, but Philadelphia, you are included. We're expecting a nasty morning drive across Washington, D.C., where right now, both Philly and D.C. are just a couple degrees above freezing, which is critically important.
Yeah, and you notice how widespread this is as well, as far as who's getting the freezing rain or that wintry mix could add up to maybe 1/10 of an inch of accumulation of ice. We'll watch this discussion coming in where these areas have been watching it for the morning commute, and it is just the timing's everything, right? A lot of you get up early, you go to work early, you go to the gym before you go to work. Here's where we've got some major problems this morning, or potentially some problems this morning that will slow you down before we start to see this turn back over to rain. But right now, what we're seeing is that freezing rain.
Watch that blue zone, especially if you live in a valley. That's where the cold air pools, and you'll have the highest potential for ice accretion. Right now in Pittsburgh, we got a nasty wintry mix. We're seeing it move all the way onto the I-80 corridor in PA. There's a look at the reports of freezing rain in Pennsylvania and snow across Maryland. That is a live look outside in Ashburn, Virginia, where we're right at 32. So we're talking about wet snowflakes. Currently coming in with the snow totals 2 to 3 inches. So kind of what we were anticipating for Virginia.
Yeah, especially with some of the orographic lift coming off of the hills, and then what we've got coming off of portions of, say, Maryland, closer to D.C., 1 to 2. We'll see perhaps up to 2 over portions of southern New England. As far as other parts for, say, the Hudson Valley through New York, New Jersey, maybe about an inch or so. But it won't be long-lived, because just like that, we turn back to rain once we get to this afternoon, about a good 6-7 hour window of snow and freezing rain.
And
then
that will melt whatever does accumulate. You know, with temperatures warming up and rain, 2 great ways to melt ice and snow. The evening commute will be wet, but mainly looking at wet roads, not icy roads. So I think we're going to have an easier time getting home from the office, but still just a tricky travel day. I mean, it's not going to be great. Keep your rain gear with you as we go into tomorrow in the 95 corridor stretch from D.C., Philadelphia, New York, up towards Boston. We still have this trail of rain moving on through, but temperatures are more doable tomorrow. Looking at the snow totals for northern New England, a couple inches of snow expected.
All right, so we're also going to be tracking a multi-day severe weather event this week that's expected to bring some damaging winds, some hail, even a tornado or two to parts of the southern and central plains. Here we go, right into March. And as you know, it's the start of the spring severe weather season. We often do it again in fall, but we've already got a week lined up of severe weather outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. Having said that, tomorrow's outlook is a level 2 out of 5, and we're going to go over what they're really expecting and talking about throughout the day, throughout the week. The area in red is where we're likely to see perhaps some large hail with these storms coming through. Having said that, you go in a little bit closer, you expect this from portions of Texas through southeastern Oklahoma, clear up into Arkansas and Missouri, too. I wouldn't leave those spaces out here. A lot of moisture and a lot of heat to work with.
And a lot of cold air aloft,
Yeah.
and that means hailstones are expected. This is part of our country where we can get big old chunks of ice. So a good idea to just be smart with where you park your car. We are looking at storms that will be lasting past sunset, so the afternoon through evening time frame pretty critical. And isolated tornadoes are not out of the question.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see a tornado outbreak by any means, but we'll see a couple tornadoes throughout the time frame.
Yeah, here's the timing and what we have for you so far through the afternoon. Now, we are having a mix of sun and clouds. Got some heating going on. Take a look at portions of, say, Missouri, southern Missouri, some pretty heavy rain coming down. But watch what's igniting back through here in through the evening hours. So these storms could get a little rowdy, and you got a couple that will fire off over portions of Texas and reconnect, I guess. So you'll have some training effects going on. Then we look ahead to the week ahead, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, level 2 out of 5 each day, and a lot of these are in the same locations. No surprise, this is that time of year when Texas does get in on this type of energy. And so having said that, making sure you've got your plan. What do I do? What do I do if I'm separated from my kids? I get a tornado warning. This does come with these scattered showers and thunderstorms, so at times you will have some heavy rain. We'll talk about the flooding in just a moment. But look at Friday. Temperatures are way up, dew points are way up, and that keeps that threat going all the way through Saturday.
And it's not just the severe storms. With these storms kind of hitting the same areas, you can guess we're going to pump out a lot of rain. And you just saw the temperatures. We're working with the 80s. So record-breaking highs will allow for a lot of rain to fall out of the sky. That is a live look at Oklahoma City. We're in the 40s right now. The overall jet stream pattern is very active, and this is such a classic look to the atmosphere for severe weather and also for that flood potential. We have that big old clash zone where we have the warm, moist air from the south kind of hitting up with this cold, dry air from Canada, and that laces in that potential of a storm track that's pretty active. The moisture levels, super juiced. I mean, gosh, to have 80s and high humidity in February and March, which is what we've been having in place last week and going into the setup for severe weather, it is no shocker that we're going to produce a lot of rain. So here's how much rain we are expecting all the way through March 10th. We're talking about a good swath of our country picking up 6 inches of rain.
And I'll tell you what, it's parts of the country that need the rain. Initially, the ground's going to take a while to soak all of this up, and then eventually we'll start to get to the point where, like, all right, we have a little too much in the ground. Now we're going to start to see some of the flooding issues happen. So initially, I think you're going to be dealing with a lot of the rain coming in, but the ground's kind of just soaking it up, which is also good. But it will lead to some flooding once we go through the rest of this week.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the storm track is over very similar areas 3 days in a row. So we're probably going to push more problems towards the end of the week. Here's the benefit, to Craig's point, we got drought. So drought usually ends in flood. It's just kind of that brutal reality of how things work out in the atmosphere. We are going to really do a huge dent in these deficits. Dallas needs almost 6 inches to make up for the stretch of dry weather that they have had.
Could easily
you might,
do that, right?
yeah, I mean, you might be able to make it up. You're in the zone. Little Rock, I think, will probably erode the deficit there, as well as Indianapolis.
It's so true. And sometimes some of these storms, you often say it, my friend, they overperform. And you may get some of these
we'll get a big
forecasts.
old beefy thunderstorm and then another one hitting the same area, and one spot will get 8 inches of rain. I guarantee you.
Just like that, you wipe it out. But your surrounding areas may still need it. When we look at the outlook for a good chunk of the beginning of March, it does look like with this type of setup, due to your point with the jip and the jet and all the moisture, it looks like it will be above average for the moisture content. We're also watching a warm-up across the eastern half of the lower 48. While it might feel like spring for a while, New York City could have several consecutive days of temperatures into the 60s.
Woohoo!
I know, right? But we may not be able to shed the cold for the season just yet. You know how that goes. It's March. Stay with us. Fox Weather First. We'll be right back.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big heavy vacuum?
Hello everyone, I'm April Lufrio with another deal from Incredible Inventions called the Zippy Sweeper. Is it a broom? Is it a vacuum? It's none of the above. It's an electric broom that sweeps up messes and spills quickly and easily. Whether you're cleaning up accidental spills in the kitchen, pet hair, dust, or crumbs from hard-to-reach places, Zippy has you covered. With its 360-degree swivel head and ultra-lightweight design, you'll get your cleaning done in half the time with zero hassle. It seamlessly transitions from hard surfaces like tile, vinyl, and hardwood to low-pile carpets. Say goodbye to tangled cords. The Zippy Sweeper is powered by a long-lasting rechargeable battery, giving you up to 60 minutes of uninterrupted cleaning power. This sweeper is equipped with a self-emptying dustbin, so you can dump the dirt with just one click, no messy bags, and no fuss. Perfect for homes with kids or pets, the Zippy Sweeper is as quiet as a whisper, so you can clean anytime without disturbing the peace. The Zippy Sweeper is available on Amazon for $109, but if you scan this QR code now, you can get it for the special on-sale price of just $59. That's $50 off instantly. Zippy would normally sell to major retailers like Walmart, Home Depot, and others, but today we're cutting out the major retailers so you can enjoy these huge savings at home. Go online or scan and save big with this QR code. And oh, Zippy is also offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, send it back, and we'll even cover the cost of return shipping. Nobody else offers this kind of guarantee, so get your Zippy Sweeper today.
Do you want to gain weight? Yes, I said gain weight. Do you want more curves? Do you want to bulk up? Try CB1 Weight Gainer today, the natural weight gain pill designed for people who struggle to put on weight.
I just love the results. I'm loving the way that I look.
I was able to eat, I was able to hit the gym. I'm feeling great and I'm looking great. I put on 25 pounds with CB1.
I have curves, I have booty, and I have a chest. I've gained 20 pounds in just a couple months.
I put on over 30 pounds in 3 months. Finally, I got the curves that I've always dreamed of.
Order today and we'll include the exclusive Weight Gain Guidebook, a $20 value free. When you call now, we'll also upgrade your order to rush processing, a $6.99 value absolutely free. That's right, call now and save over $25. Gain the weight you want or your money back guaranteed.
Call 800-599-8987 or go to trycb1.com.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Yeah, I hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday. I'm Craig Herrera. Thank you for spending time with us. Hey, guess what? It's eclipse season already, and we're watching for the first event of the year. It's a blood moon lunar eclipse already underway, and it will take over the sky in a striking red hue. Look how pretty that is.
The eclipse will cut across multiple continents, giving billions of stargazers a look at this beautiful sight in the sky. But what we are looking for, of course, is totality. That is scheduled for 6:04 Eastern Time. So as we count down, we're less than an hour away. Let's bring in an expert, Janet Ivey. So good to see you. Yeah. Janet is the CEO and founder of Janet's Planet.
So cool.
And we're excited about this morning, Janet. Yeah. Good morning.
I know, I'm right on brand. I'm wearing my planets, right?
I love it.
So today, pardon me. So today we're looking for totality, and I'm down in Fort Lauderdale performing for kids at the Parker Theater, and it was perfectly clear a moment ago, and then we had rain. So I'm still hopeful that by 6:04 things will clear out. But let's talk about what totality is. It is basically we have to have this alignment, and all I have this morning is an earring and my makeup. The sun and the earth and the moon have to be perfectly aligned, and the moon gets that eclipse when the earth passes directly between the sun and the moon, causing that umbral shadow to completely cover it. And that beautiful red color, or that blood moon we're talking about, happens as Earth's atmosphere filters that sunlight and it refracts those red wavelengths onto the lunar surface. And that's going to last for about 58 minutes. But again, this is so amazing. And again, if you have clear skies at all, please go out. There is a great live stream happening, and it's coming from Hawaii with time and date that you can watch on YouTube if you happen to be under cloudy or rainy conditions. But it's just such an amazing experience. And again, we're kind of seeing, it's weird how it's like when it finally just gets in that penumbral, that first kind of like larger cone of the shadow, you can't really tell anything. The edges just get smudgy. But then as it gets into that umbral, that like basically that smallest swath of the shadow of the Earth on the moon, that's when we'll really start to see totality. But right now we're beginning to see partial eclipse. And again, it's really quite striking, I think, that moment as it goes from this partial eclipse and then it bursts out into that copper color. How red it will be will really depend on how much pollution or whatever is happening up there in the atmosphere. It can go darker or lighter depending on what's happening up there in the atmosphere. But sure to be an amazing event if it is clear skies where you are, and if not, we will have to go the digital route and watch it as it is happening in Hawaii. Because right now I'm watching that live stream over here, and the moon is getting darker and darker as it is kind of coming from that larger cone of the shadow of the Earth into that like really small swath where we experience totality.
Janet, it is so cool. That's Captiva Island, Florida, a live stream that our team has. We've got a beach house going on out there. So we've been watching it, part of our team watching closely here. Real quick, it's about an hour long, and then we're done?
Then here's this is beautiful. If you're on the East Coast, there is the possibility of this thing called a selenelian. And that word is formed from the word Selene, the Greek god of the moon, goddess of the moon, and then the Helios for sun. And so if like, I know I'm watching this thing from Florida and I'm going, oh, those clouds come. But a lot of times when it does really get into that like umbra, the clouds will dissipate. I've seen this several times watching eclipses. So a selenelian is when we will see the sun begin to rise as the moon is setting. Ooh. So it will be possible to see both the sun and the moon. And again, we'll see both of them at the same time because of the way the Earth is refracting light. And now that will only happen about midway through. So for us on the East Coast, about 6:30, and you've got some clear skies happening, look to see, and you'll only have about 1 to 3 minutes of possibility for this to happen, where the sun will be rising and the moon will be setting. So fantastic
special.
Term. And for anybody
cool.
out there who loves their constellations, this blood moon will be in the constellation Leo.
Ooh, love it. Awesome. Janet, you are such a wealth of information. We loved having you for the solar eclipse. Good to have you for the lunar eclipse. That is Janet Ivey, CEO and founder of Janet's Planet. Go enjoy that lunar eclipse, Janet. We'll talk to you soon.
Much.
Look up.
Exactly. Well, that blood moon lunar eclipse is active across the United States, but some areas are get a better look due or lack of cloud cover. But if you have the cloud cover, it's tough. We're looking at Captiva Island, Florida. That's where part of our team is. Yeah, meteorologist Marissa Torres joins us this morning. Marissa, so good to see you. We're looking at the live stream. The clouds keep coming in and out, but how's the view this morning?
Well, you can't go wrong when you get to pair up a Fox Weather Beach House Spring Break Edition at South Seas Resort in Captiva Island with a total lunar eclipse. I don't even think that was planned. I think it was just kismet. But front row seats and the clouds, you saw the camera. So Chris, one of our photographers, he's on the other side of the beach, not too far from us, also capturing those sights. The really clear shots are not from Captiva, but we do have some clouds behind us. We had a clear day yesterday, and these clouds will clear out as we get further into the day. We had some rain showers last night. You get the sea breezes during the day, so all part of Florida forecast. But these clouds have lingered into, well, these early morning hours. So as you heard from Janet, from Janet's Planet, we are now in the process of reaching totality, which won't come until 6 o'clock, 6:04, and then we'll get 58 minutes of it. And every minute of it, there is a chance for those clouds to break and for us to see the infamous blood moon, the red moon. Red because of the fact, as Janet explained, you get the longer wavelengths from the sun that have to pass through Earth's atmosphere around Earth, and only the red ones actually make it to the moon. One of the wonderful things I think Janet said when she was on command yesterday was she said, when you see the color of the moon red, it's as if all of the world's sunsets and sunrises are in one projected shot of the moon, and it's that color red. It is really spectacular. We're waiting for the clouds to clear, but again, I think, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to see totality as we head further into the 6 a.m. hour, and then we'll get the 58 minutes with it wrapping up just after 7. The other thing we're anticipating as we march through the timeline during the beginning and end, we have the sun that's going to be rising here in Captiva, which is around 6:47, I believe, in the morning. So there is a potential that we get what Janet had talked about, the moment where you get the eclipsed moon and the sun, the rising sun at the same time in the sky. It's rare, it doesn't happen all the time, but I think that just adds to the element of how special this is. I mean, here we are, just 4 Fox Weather employees out here this morning with billions of other people across the world, Eastern Asia, New Zealand, Australia, that are capturing this moment right here. So we're gonna watch, guys, look at the clouds. Look at the clouds.
Just wait,
It's frustrating,
there's time, there's time.
There's time, absolutely.
But I love how you put it, Marissa, because there's only so many times in life where the whole world can pause together. And of course, today it's not the whole world, but it's a good chunk of people on Earth that can see it. And it kind of brings you down to just the bare bones of humanity, just being a human, seeing something with your own eyes with other people that you do know and don't know, and it doesn't even matter if you do. It's very, very impactful.
It absolutely is. I think that's what everybody boils it down to, is that it's a unifying thing. And heck, we could use a little bit of unification right now. And it does make you feel somewhat small in this big universe that we're in. And before I leave you, I think one thing that I always talk to Stephen Morgan about when I'm with him is, what if I was standing on the moon witnessing this event of this total lunar eclipse? And we had video, and I don't know if we can show it, but if you were on the moon looking towards Earth, you see Earth, but around Earth, you get this halo of red. So it's that reverse of the total eclipse. Here,
we're showing it right now.
It's just so fascinating, right?
And you know what? Maybe 15
one day we'll live on
years
the
from
moon.
now, that's going to be your live assignment,
That'll be your live
Marissa.
shot.
Yeah, isn't that maybe, right? Yeah, we'll see if the Artemis missions go well. So best of luck to them. But yeah, I just think it's so fascinating, you guys. And if we miss this one, if people sleep through this one, as you know, we have our next one coming up, December 31st, 2028, New Year's Eve. So from 2028 to 2029, we're able to welcome in another total lunar eclipse for North America.
What a great conversation, great images. Thanks so much, Marissa Torres. We're going to check in with you again throughout the morning from Captiva Island, Florida. Great to see you, my friend. Enjoy.
You too.
Well, getting back to today's forecast, we have severe weather to talk about. We have an amped up flood threat as well. These two stories, by the way, very much connected. We have a stormy track here that is going to lead to multiple things. So when you have the storms in the forecast, you also have that flood potential. We're going to be having an increased potential for flooding. So let's talk about safety, get you and your family in a position where you can take the forecast and put yourself into a better position. The best thing that you really want to start with is, of course, the forecast, but knowing the different types of flooding that we can encounter. We have river flooding, and then we have flash flooding. So here on Fox Weather, when we show you an outlook for flooding, we're showing you the potential where flash flooding can occur. That is when we get too much rain in a short amount of time, and we start to see the water levels rise, whether that's in an urban area or a low-lying spot. That's what's going to trigger a flash flood warning. But when you have days after day after day of a flash flood outlook, you can run into river flooding. And this is one of those setups where we could see some river rise. Now, we've had drought in the area, so a lot of our rivers are low, and that could actually be a sneaky silver lining, at least for this scenario. What I want you to listen out for are flood watches and flood warnings. So a flood watch means conditions are prime. You don't have to necessarily react, but be ready to react. And when you get that flood warning, that's the trigger moment. That's when you actually want to make sure that you're on higher ground, you're watching where you park your car, and you're keeping you and your family in a safer position. It's all about getting higher when those water levels are rising, but always know how to get to a safer location. Those evacuation routes, you got to have a couple of them, especially if you live in vulnerable areas that have flooded in the past. And when we look at flood warnings, there's different levels of flood warnings. So the details are extremely important. We always do a great job of making sure that you understand what level of flooding we are warning you about. Catastrophic, that's going to be your flash flood emergency. If you ever hear that, that is the one that is a threat to life and property, the most extreme warning that you can receive. But most of the time, we're talking about base level flood warnings, especially in the setup that we have over the next couple days. We're talking about the annoyance flooding that you want to keep yourself out of, but it's good to know that once you get into considerable and then catastrophic, all the conditions do tend to increase and change. We're here for you on Fox Weather. We are heading into our springtime stretch where flooding, unfortunately, does tend to occur.
Snow and ice in the mid-Atlantic is now shifting right into the Northeast, just in time for the morning commute. Stay with us as we break this down and let you know what to expect as we go through the rest of the day. Fox Weather First, we'll be right back.
Tired of struggling with that heavy leaf blower? Introducing the Bullseye Power Blower. It delivers a massive blowing force, and yet it's so compact and lightweight.
Just lock and load the rechargeable battery for long-lasting runtime.
The secret is the compact turbocharged motor with jet burst technology that blasts out 21,000 RPMs of airflow. Watch this. The sheer force propels this woman across the pool. Look, use Bullseye to blow up a huge jump house. Now that's power. Even blows snow right off your vehicle in no time. Turbo clean your porch in a flash or tidy up your dirty garage floor in seconds. Get it today for just $99.99. But wait, act now and get a $20 discount. So it's only $79.99. Plus, you'll get the adjustable extension tube. Yours free. And it all comes with free shipping. Order now.
Call 1-800-329-4803 or go to bullseyeblower.com. That's 1-800-329-4803 or order online at bullseyeblower.com. Order now.
Do you want to gain weight? Yes, I said gain weight. Do you want more curves? Do you want to bulk up? Try CB1 Weight Gainer today, the natural weight gain pill designed for people who struggle to put on weight.
I just love the results. I'm loving the way that I look.
I was able to eat. I was able to hit the gym. I'm feeling great and I'm looking great. I put on 25 pounds with CB1.
I have curves, I have booty, and I have a chest. I've gained 20 pounds in just a couple months.
I put on over 30 pounds in 3 months. Finally, I got the curves that I've always dreamed of.
Order today and we'll include the exclusive Weight Gain Guidebook, a $20 value free. When you call now, we'll also upgrade your order to rush processing, a $6.99 value absolutely free. That's right, call now and save over $25. Gain the weight you want or your money back guaranteed.
Call 800-599-8987 or go to trycb1.com.
Buying or selling a home has gotten hard. Inventory is tight and interest rates are high. Making a move can be scary. That's why who you work with matters. I partner with HomeLight to help our clients win in any situation. Our buyers find great deals on their dream homes, and our sellers get top dollar even in a challenging market. HomeLight gives our clients the edge they need, and together, we all win.
Marley drank 2 quarts of cooking oil. I called my vet and they were like, you need to bring him here immediately. I used to constantly avoid going to the vet because I knew that it was gonna cost me a bomb if it weren't for Fetch. So it's been the ultimate peace of mind, and the feeling that I get when my claims are reimbursed is this winning moment. If you have health insurance for your kids, why wouldn't you for your pet?
Get paid back up to 90% of vet bills with Fetch Pet Insurance. Get your free quote at fetchpet.com.
Hello and good morning. Thanks for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Yeah, I hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday. I'm Craig Herrera. Thank you for spending part of it with us. If you have missed it or didn't hear about it, we have a total lunar eclipse underway early this morning. Live shot right now from Captiva Island, Florida. The moon will glow red for nearly an hour, but we've got some clouds there. We also have Marissa Torres in Florida covering the lunar eclipse.
We're actually going to have Marissa have a huge fan so she can move the clouds. But we still have time. We have over 30 minutes. We'll continue to watch the live stream. Meanwhile, we're off to an unfortunate start to our Tuesday in the Northeast. We got some rain and some snow. Folks, you need to make sure that you take some caution this morning with the morning drive because we could see some icy spots. That's a live look outside in Virginia, Maryland, and PA, all areas that have this nasty wintry mix moving through. It's not a huge storm by any means. I think what makes it impactful is the timeline. It's the morning commute, guys, so it's going to be really tough. Many of you are actually waking up to 2-3 inches of fresh snow this morning. So here's live radar. Important things to note. Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia are both above freezing. We're now entering the coldest part of the day, so there is a chance here that we stay above the freezing mark. Critically important for not getting ice on the roads. So that is an encouraging thing to pass along. With that said, we have a lot of folks in central PA moving down into West Virginia and higher elevated spots across Maryland where we will see some light icing. Look out for the valleys, especially because that's where that cold air will pool and you'll have a higher potential for ice to form on the roads. There's a look at the radar from Pittsburgh to Puxatawny all the way up to Newcastle. So this section of PA is going to be the tricky spot for the next couple hours, and we do have winter weather advisories in effect.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's not a lot of snow, but it's not what you want to hear right now, especially during your morning commute. And after all we've been through, max 2 inches, mostly adjusting to an inch or so. We're already getting reports in from some of the snow and of the freezing rain. A shot for you from Virginia. Is that Ashburn, I believe? We've got a little bit of a freezing rain down. Look at the radar. I love this because you see the radar.
Northwest suburbs outside of D.C. are going to be slick.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough go because so many people commute to D.C. or Baltimore from the surrounding areas. So it's one of those mornings where you are going to need a little bit of extra time, or if you can, just wait a little bit longer if possible, because a lot of this will eventually turn back over to rain. And
and that 1 to 3 inches of snow, bye-bye.
Exactly, which is great. So it's not like it's going to be like snow that's going to be down on the ground. Plus, the rain that's coming in with warmer temperatures will melt some of the old crusty snow that's been there for weeks in some cases. Look at this. So we've got round after round, a southerly flow. It's going to feel a little bit different across the Ohio River Valley, the mid-Atlantic. The only place getting in on the snow for the good chunk of the day will be New England. And we're also going to be tracking a multi-day severe weather event this week that is expected to bring some damaging winds, hail, maybe even a few tornadoes to portions of the southern and the central plains as well. And having said that, we've got several days, and the outlooks from Storm Prediction Center are they're so good, right? And not only this, but we're days out. And so when you have high confidence like this far in advance, it's something to pay attention to, especially now that we're going into March. And we've got the temperature swings. We've got the severe weather setting up. Big dip in the jet. Cold air from the north dives into the south. Cold, dry air, I should say. And then also some humid air. Hot and humid. Boy, you talk heat, you get some natural lift, natural rise, right? You throw some humidity in there, it holds more moisture. The combination is a perfect setup for us today to see perhaps some hail. You can see the level 1 goes all the way to the Ohio Valley, but the level 1 thread is where we're likely going to see some hail. And Texas is known for big stones.
Yeah, I mean, the Metroplex is right in the middle of this, as well as the Red River Valley, and then we push it up into northwest Arkansas. You do want to make sure that you're looking out for late in the day. That's kind of the ignition time for this. You're going to feel that typical severe weather feel.
Yeah.
It's going to be muggy. It's going to be mild. I mean, downright warm, to be quite honest. We have record-breaking highs in the 80s, which is not what we should be having in Texas or Oklahoma or Arkansas in early March. These are really, really warm temperatures for this time of year.
Yeah, a lot of discussions talking about that right now. And you think you see some of these ignite later this afternoon closer to Texas and Oklahoma. Heavy rain coming down over portions of Missouri as well. And then by the time we get into 11, we see some of these reignite. Some of these are popping up in the same spots. So you will be concerned with, as we go down the road in the days ahead, for flooding. We'll go over that in just a moment. Let's get to Thursday's severe storm threat. A level 2 out of 5 right now as well. Goes up and through portions of the central and southern plains in Texas. Again, you're in the mix, although this time around we add a little bit more into the mix, especially with that dry air coming in out of New Mexico. You're talking about the better chance for tornadoes, straight line winds as well. And then, Britta, we go to Friday. Here's an update. Today is Tuesday. We had a level 2 out of 5 threat since yesterday. Now we're jumped up to level 3 from Storm Prediction Center from Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas City, and it is over portions of the plains right up into the Midwest. We're talking about Tulsa. You see Kansas City in there, level 3, as everything progresses a little farther and things, ingredients come together a little bit better with this type of setup.
I believe this is only our second level 3 severe weather outlook that we've had for the year so far.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is not a shocker. We're just at the beginning of the season, but more to come. Yeah. And you can imagine these thunderstorms, they produce a lot of rain, especially considering those record-breaking highs. Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword story. We actually need the rain, but too much rain, especially on dry ground where we have drought, can lead to a flood potential. And we certainly do see a flood potential over the next several days. There's a live look at St. Louis, which is drenched this morning. Wow. It's a cold rain at that. We got temperatures right now in the upper 30s. But St. Louis could pick up, it is the worst combo. St. Louis can pick up 4 to 5 inches of rain between now and March 10th. So over the next week, we're talking about several inches of rain. You can tell why we're talking about a flood potential here. And across the Midwest, that time window is about a 24 to 36-hour time window. The rest of the zone, we're talking about a whole week of rain. A lot of this is due to all the moisture and the heat. We're pumping in a lot of moisture from the Gulf. You can see those darker greens kicking in as we work our way through the weekend.
And the more heat you have, the more moisture you hold, the more potent the storms are, and the more moisture they squeeze out when you talk about the vertical column and the water that they're holding in there. Taking a look at the day, so the darker green is for Friday. We look at Wednesday and Tuesday as far as the flash flood threat. It does go up by the time we get into Friday. Well, it's still level 1, but by the time we get into the end of the week and into the weekend, I'd say just watch for some of the flooding, because at that point it's day upon day where we're getting training effect in some of these spots. It is where we need it, though, that's for sure. But
it just takes a long time for dry ground to be able to benefit from heavy rain.
It's like a sponge. When you first get it wet with the sponge, it takes a while to actually get it wet, right? But then once it's wet, we're good.
We'll see, a long-term payoff for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the forecast is calling for 5 to 8 inches of rain for Little Rock, Arkansas. Your deficit is just over 6 inches. So we could actually erase the deficit for parts of Arkansas, Indiana, Missouri. These are all areas that could come out of this, somewhat rocky stretch with a good news story. Again, we're talking about minimal flood potential here, but as we continue to work our way through the event, you see where the rain falls, and you just wait patiently, because sometimes things can escalate, and they can escalate quickly. Especially when we have a forecast like this, we have likely above average rain in the forecast all the way through mid-March. So we have a very active weather setup where we're going to have plenty of rain showing up in the forecast. For Dallas, for example, this is what you're going to see on your Fox Weather app. Not really encouraging. I know, it's tough. So look out for severe storms and look out with the flooding that will come hand in hand. And we want to thank you for trusting us here at Fox Weather. We love getting up and starting your day, and we appreciate you waking up to start our day as well.
Yeah, lots to cover as we go through March, the severe weather season, temperature swings, all of it. Stay with us. More Fox Weather coming up after this break. Ooh.
Have you ever been to the airport on a beautiful day just to find out that your flight has been delayed? Weather is often the culprit, meddling behind the scenes. But how? It's all about cascading delays. When storms ground planes at origin airports, the destination airports start to face delays as well. Things can start to snowball when big storms impact multiple travel hubs. Down on the ground, out on the roads, traffic stinks, but it can be a problem up in the air too. The actual corridors in which planes fly can get clogged up. And sometimes when storms are positioned in flight paths, there is less room for all of the air traffic. Travel headaches can be brutal, but Fox Weather can help. Get travel alerts 24/7 right at your fingertips with the Fox Weather app, or watch us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. Fox Weather, weathering it together.
All right, let's get to the roads and the runways. This is our travel forecast. Show you what's going on out there. About 664 commercial flights in the air early on a Tuesday morning. We have had some cancellations coming out of D.C., 18 and 9 out of JFK, 9 out of Miami. Washington, D.C., getting to the airport is going to be tough. We've got a rainy, freezing rain and mix at that, so wintry precipitation. We look at some of the interstates. I-95 from D.C. all the way to Boston, you're going to be dealing with snow for a period of the morning hours, turning back to rain and freezing rain in some cases. From Boston to Maine, most of the day will be mostly a snow mix for you. We will get some gusty winds up to 35 miles per hour if those are your interstates. Want to get to Interstate 80 as well, from Ohio to Pennsylvania, where we got some freezing rain for the morning hours, chance for a few isolated thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. That could slow you down. And how about I-70 from Topeka to St. Louis? They've been getting in on the rain and thunderstorms, not only for the morning hours, but we'll take this into a portion of the afternoon. Taking a look at that energy moving through portions of the Ohio River Valley, staying with us. Watch for some gusty winds and perhaps some hail here. The wintry mix for the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic does turn to mostly rain by the evening hours. If you are going to be in New England, again, mostly a snow event for you. Across the Mid-Atlantic, we'll finally see some rain later this afternoon. Southeast doing with temperatures just fine. Very humid at that, though. Not much in the way for rain for Florida. I wish we had a better news for you. You've been dealing with drought conditions here. We'll see more rain and scattered showers across the Southeast this week.
I'm Fox Weather's Stephen Morgan, and today we're talking about eclipses. There are two main types, solar and lunar. Similar but different, two sides of the same coin, and it's all about the alignment of the Earth, Sun, and Moon. Lunar eclipses occur when the Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, casting a shadow on the lunar surface. The Moon appears to get darker with a reddish glow, which is why they're typically called blood moons. Solar eclipses occur because the Moon passes between the Sun and Earth, casting a shadow on the Earth's surface. In the path of totality, the Moon will block out the Sun's light, and at the surface, the temperature might even drop. These don't last long, only a few minutes, and only where the Moon is casting its shadow. Now, a lunar eclipse can last for hours and be seen anywhere as long as the Moon is over the horizon. Now go out, if you can, and look up. There's so much to see. Know your Fox weather.
Welcome back to Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin. We have Craig Herrera here this morning, getting your Tuesday off to a good start. But we do have some serious weather to talk about if you live across the Central Plains. Rounds of thunderstorms are in the forecast, which could turn severe. We're talking about the potential for some big, impactful weather. The severe storms, the flood threat, it's going to linger into this upcoming weekend, and that will produce damaging winds, large hail, and even, yes, tornadoes are possible. So let's take a look at the severe setup for today. Today's kind of the kickoff to this busy stretch. We're going to have a couple rounds. This afternoon, we'll look out for parts of Oklahoma, but then later tonight, well past sunset, we're looking at a second ignition across parts of Kansas and Missouri. Now, this is a level 1, so not everyone is going to see severe weather, but there's energy there. You can see that laced in that darker yellow color, kind of waiting and holding in place until the afternoon with daytime heating. There's the action, Craig. We have showers that are popping up in the afternoon across Oklahoma for round number 1.
Right where you've got plenty of energy to work with. You mentioned round number 1. Now we go into the overnight hours, 2 o'clock in the morning, and now we're talking about round number 2. Some of these starting to pop up over portions of, say, Kansas, and you extend over into Oklahoma. Look at Missouri. Same story for you. The energy is still there, and we're talking now about the commute. This is going to be for 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning. This is going to be a concern here for not only the hail that we're dealing with today, but also the strong winds, perhaps even a little bit of rotation there.
Yeah, and then by Wednesday afternoon, you guessed it, we'll have another round of severe storms. So it's going to be a very active stretch here. On Wednesday, we do have a little more twist and upper level support. That means that we probably have a higher potential of isolated tornadoes on Wednesday than today. Doesn't mean that we can't see it, but certainly have more ingredients at play. And this all is going to come to a head on Friday. Guys, we've had a big upgrade for Friday. It's a level 3. I believe it's the second level 3 outlook that we've had for the year so far. And we have this stretch that goes right up the 35 corridor, central Oklahoma, Kansas, and then pushes to the east in Missouri, where we could see some really dangerous storms form on Friday.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the flood impact,
oh man,
it goes hand in hand.
Right? Lots of rain.
You're talking about the same zones, right?
Yeah.
That these thunderstorms are training over and producing the heavy rain.
Yeah, and some spots will easily get 5 to 8 inches of fresh rain by the time we get into next Tuesday. Well, starting today, the Storm Prediction Center is announcing a new metric that's going to help folks better prepare, especially when we're talking about some destructive storms in the forecast. It's called conditional intensity. It's meant to supplement the current forecast that you see on Fox Weather.
The Storm Prediction Center spoke about the need for these changes over this past weekend. Take a listen.
The black hatching. For those that don't know, this is how we communicate the storm intensity, whether that means extreme straight-line winds, destructive hail, or catastrophic tornadoes.
Here's the problem. Under the old system, we only used hatching when the expected coverage of significant severe weather was high enough. You will see 3 new intensity levels. Level 1 means significant severe weather is possible. Level 2 signals a dangerous environment like intense tornadoes or extremely large hail. Level 3 is rare. It's reserved for historic outbreak level intensity, such as violent tornadoes or intense derechos.
So what do the changes actually look like, and how is this all going to work? We're going to take you step by step here to prepare you for what is really going to be our biggest tool, not only in the days ahead, but really the weeks ahead. So threat levels, they're not changing.
No.
That's not going to be changing at all.
This is what you're used to seeing.
Exactly. And that will stay strong. So we're looking at level 1 through 5 for the outlook for severe weather for the day. What is going to be changing are the specifics of the intensity of type of weather that can happen within this severe weather zone. So let's take the impact of tornadoes. This is what you used to see in the forecast. A huge area where we could see EF2 or stronger. This is going to get a lot more specific and honed down.
And when you think about that, before it was EF2 or greater, so that didn't even compare EF2, EF3, EF4, and EF5. So now you have a better indication of where we could see the strongest storms, whether that's EF2, EF3, or EF4, or even EF5. This is a little more honed in, which is great because it gives such a broad area a more, I guess, specified area to watch for those intense storms.
Yes, and identifying where the most destructive tornadoes could occur. Let's move on to straight line winds, which is a huge component of severe weather. Not only are we honing in on the wind speed, this is what you used to see, but now we have 3 levels where we're really going to talk about the intensity of those strong straight line winds, but the type of straight line winds. Are we talking about bow echoes, derechos? These are really impactful weather setups that can lead to an immense amount of destruction. So having that detailed information per location is key in really communicating the risk level for you and your community. Let's talk about hail. This is what it used to look like. Again, pretty generic,
2
right?
2 inches or greater.
Now we're honing down.
Yeah, now we're seeing where that 2 inches or greater can be, because you notice that's still the big purple area, but now you're talking about specifically in this graphic, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. So you get a better idea of where you expect to see the larger hailstones. Not that you're not going to see it in the rest of that level, that purple level, but that hatched area is where you're likely going to see the largest, or the biggest threat for the largest stones there.
Yeah, this is just another great push by, the National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, and now the Storm Prediction Center. There's been this push to really make it a lot more communicative.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's get to the east and what we are calling Fool's Spring. That's not very nice, but it's true.
I'm happy to be fooled.
It's true. Temperatures across many states are edging into the 60s, 70s. How about even the 80s for some spots next week? But the bad news is, as you know, it may not stick around the entire month. Everybody's asking me when I go to the gym, they're like, hey, this is it, right? No more cold weather. I'm like, dude, it's March. You don't know. It could change just like that. This is what we do in March with the temperature swings. We do have an area of high pressure pumping in the heat, pumping in the moisture, fueling the severe storms, fueling the flood threat, but also fueling those record highs. We are talking about more than 90 record highs possible, extending all the way over the eastern, really 2/3 of the lower 48, where temperatures will easily be 20 degrees above average. How about Thursday? Look at all of the 80s on the map for the southern tier. Even all the way to Raleigh, you're at 78, Richmond 77, Nashville at 78. We don't stop there. You just pump it up a little farther north. People in Chicago, guaranteed you're going to be out by the lake there, lakeside for sure.
Oh,
67.
absolutely. By the way, this is why we're going to have the severe weather.
Exactly.
It's a huge ingredient. So all of our weather stories are very much connected. But you know what? For folks ahead of that severe weather potential, this is going to be a really warm day. For folks down south, you've had a lot of heat, so this is just going to be a continuation. We're looking at afternoon highs in the 80s, but it is record-breaking, and it's not normal. This is not the type of heat that we even experience across the south.
May tie a record from 1956.
Yeah, you're expecting temperatures in the 60s and 70s. We're talking mid to upper 80s.
Yeah, no kidding. How about Saturday? We've got plenty of warm weather for you still in the mix, especially across the south and southeast. Up and through New York, you're still at 50. That's gorgeous, and you're still well above average. So you're not quite at the extreme level as you are across the south, but we're still going to see some very warm temperatures. We could see some records Saturday, especially across the south and southeast. In this case, Atlanta's record goes back to 1974. Birmingham back to the 1950s as well. So enjoy this nice bit of spring, because you never know when it's going to drop.
Absolutely. And now that we are in meteorological spring, big changes are on the way. Of course, spring means more daylight. We're going to have temperatures that will be climbing. But as we mentioned, it does mean, yes, severe weather season is here. And we're already seeing this take place this week. We have Arctic air that is going to be matched up with warm Gulf air. And that sets a dramatic stage for dramatic weather. And we see this every spring, and of course we see it in the fall as well. Now, meteorological spring, if you're wondering, well, what does that mean? It's still cold outside. When it comes to weather records, you have to have a defined time frame to hold those records in. Astronomical spring, it changes because it's off of the sun angle. So you might have a couple extra days thrown in or subtracted year to year. But meteorological spring, starting on March 1st and ending on May 31st, it's the same defined time frame. So it gives us that ability, Craig, to really capture, okay, was this a warm spring, a cold spring? Did we have a lot of severe weather? It gives us a vantage point.
Those
but
three months are very similar, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think what people really notice, especially in March, is the increased daylight, especially if you live up to the north.
Yes. You're gaining about 100 minutes of sunlight.
We both have lived in the red zone.
We have, yeah. I talk. It's summertime. You wait for this because when you go through the winter, it's dark a little bit faster, and you don't have as much daylight. So yeah, you're getting more daylight. The days are still the same. You still have 24 hours in a day.
But
it's just how much sunshine do you have? Yeah. I mean, look at the southern tier. Even you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's less noticeable. If you live in, Del Rio, Texas, you're not going to, be stacking on a couple hours, but you do have an extra 30, 45 minutes of daylight.
Yeah.
Looking at the forecast, it looks like we're going to be warm and dry in the southwest. That's a huge flag for our spring forecast.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have snow or rain in the winter. Now we're looking at a dry spring. We're setting up for a massive wildfire concern for folks that live to the west. It's kind of a tough one to see that in the forecast. Meanwhile, above average precipitation is expected for the Great Lakes. We do have a setup here where, of course, we're going to see severe weather. This is historically where we look for severe weather across the Central Plains, moving into the southeast. That's what we see in March. And then as we go into April and May, it expands and it gets worse. I mean, May is our peak month for tornadoes in our country.
Yeah, you're talking about most spots east of the Continental Divide, clear over to almost the eastern seaboard and north to south for most of the a good chunk of the country. You talk about this, and we also talk about these storms through May. A lot of these, by the way, do become nocturnal, too. We see the numbers go up this month and more so into April and May as for nocturnal storms.
And we want to thank you for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. We want to make sure you download that free Fox Weather app, too.
Yeah, because when you do, you turn on the notifications, you get the alerts for the weather no matter where you are. We're with you for all seasons, for all America. And guess what? We have more Fox Weather right up after this break.
Do you feel overwhelmed by the constantly changing real estate market? You're definitely not alone. So many of our clients feel the same. That's why who you work with matters. I work with HomeLight to get the best deals for my clients. Whether you're looking to sell for the right price or hunting for that dream home, let's make your real estate experience smooth and rewarding. Start your journey at homelight.com today.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big heavy vacuum?
Hello everyone, I'm April Lufrio with another deal from Incredible Inventions called the Zippy Sweeper. Is it a broom? Is it a vacuum? It's none of the above. It's an electric broom that sweeps up messes and spills quickly and easily. Whether you're cleaning up accidental spills in the kitchen, pet hair, dust, or crumbs from hard-to-reach places, Zippy has you covered. With its 360-degree swivel head and ultra-lightweight design, you'll get your cleaning done in half the time with zero hassle. It seamlessly transitions from hard surfaces like tile, vinyl, and hardwood to low-pile carpets. Say goodbye to tangled cords. The Zippy Sweeper is powered by a long-lasting rechargeable battery, giving you up to 60 minutes of uninterrupted cleaning power. This sweeper is equipped with a self-emptying dustbin, so you can dump the dirt with just one click, no messy bags, and no fuss. Perfect for homes with kids or pets, the Zippy Sweeper is as quiet as a whisper, so you can clean anytime without disturbing the peace. The Zippy Sweeper is available on Amazon for $109, but if you scan this QR code now, you can get it for the special on-sale price of just $59. That's $50 off instantly. Zippy would normally sell to major retailers like Walmart, Home Depot, and others, but today we're cutting out the major retailers so you can enjoy these huge savings at home. Go online or scan and save big with this QR code. And oh, Zippy is also offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, send it back, and we'll even cover the cost of return shipping. Nobody else offers this kind of guarantee, so get your Zippy Sweeper today.
We had Cooper for approximately 3 days, and we ended up taking him to the emergency vet as he racked up a bill of about $3,700. We quickly learned how expensive these bills can be.
Your major vet bills are not covered by what you can put away monthly. Our friends are like, we put that money away every month, and that's great until you have like a $12,000 vet bill.
Dogs do get sick, and when that time comes, we have the peace of mind that Fetch is there to support us.
Get paid back up to 90% of vet bills with Fetch Pet Insurance. Get your free quote at fetchpet.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Hey there. Good Tuesday to you. I'm Craig Herrera. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Yeah, the Northeast, pack your patience, as they say.
And your umbrella.
Yeah, don't forget that. Rain, snow, it's all a thing this morning. Now, most of these locations, we got PA, Maryland, Virginia. You guys are going to cross over to rain as we get closer to the evening commute. The problem is this morning, our temperatures are pretty darn close to freezing. And so we're picking up on ice. We have a couple inches of snow across Virginia and Maryland, about 1 to 3 inches, give or take. Right now in Philadelphia, some wet snowflakes being reported, 35 degrees. So this is just kind of a travel headache. It's not a lot, but it's a really bad time to have a little bit of something happen. We were watching this zone, by the way, moving into PA, parts of Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland, where we have a higher potential for freezing rain because we got this warm, moist air that's streaming up from the south, and that's moving over this cold air that's sinking down to the ground. And so you get this profile where freezing rain can lead to some ice accretion. So especially in valleys where we have colder air, you're going to have some slick bridges and slick roads.
Yeah, it just sits there, and that's going to be a problem for you. Pittsburgh's starting to see a turnover, it looks like, back perhaps over to rain.
Yeah, to rain.
And I think that's the story here, right, is a lot of us will get in on the wintry mix, some snow, and then we go right over to the rain. So it's one of those things where you wake up and you're like, oh, man, it's snowing if you're in New England or southern New England. Well, guess what? It does change, except for northern New England. That warm air that you were talking about, Britta, continues to stream on through. Temperatures go up. It will help to melt the little bit of snow that we get this morning, plus help to melt down some of that crusty old snow that's been there for, in some cases, a couple of months since January, and, of course, the nor'easter. Look at this evening. Widespread rain. Travel along many interstates and airports. That's going to take a little bit longer.
It is. New England, you stay as snow. That's where we're expecting a couple inches of snow as we close out our Tuesday. And we're going to wrap up our hour here on the Fox Business Network, but stay with us. Mornings with Maria Bartiromo is up next. I'm Britta Merwin.
And I'm Craig Herrera. It's a good time to remember to download the Fox Weather app, turn on the notifications. If you want to continue to stream us, go to foxweather.tv. We'll be right back.
picture this. You get a warning that your tires are low on air.
Tire pressure low, and I hate it.
This is the Bullseye Pro. What do you think of an air compressor in the palm of your hand?
Now this is light.
Easy to read, it lights up.
I'm impressed that it's this small and it can work in such a big truck.
It's convenient, it's lightweight. I can keep this in my glove compartment.
This is the Bullseye Pro Inflator. It's your anytime, anywhere inflation station. With its rechargeable lithium-ion battery, Bullseye Pro puts the power of a full-size air compressor in the palm of your hand.
You mean this can actually do my tires and I don't have to go to that old pump thing?
You do not.
Seriously?
This will do it.
If you could get 4 tires, that's awesome.
This little thing's strong enough to put air in these low-profile tires.
All 4 of them if you'd like.
No kidding. I want to put it about 42. That's my highway travel PSI.
Okay, 42. We'll pop it on there. Trigger starts it. And just set it down. And you don't have to babysit it. That will automatically shut off when it gets to the PSI.
Perfect, I don't have to stand out here and wait.
You don't really know you need it until you need it.
Geez, that was so easy.
35 exactly.
35.
Right, hit right on target here.
Now, since we first started selling the Bullseye Pro, people everywhere have been using it to keep the things they rely on perfectly inflated. It's the smarter, faster way to fill anything with air.
Oh, that was easy. It's amazing. It's really handy.
You shut it and forget it.
I can't believe I can do this on my own.
Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system, all for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. But to really inflate this offer, we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Call or go online to order now.
To order, call 1-800-403-9257 or go to getbullseyepro.com. So call 1-800-403-9257 or order online at getbullseyepro.com. Order now.
Buying and selling a home can be really hard these days. That's why who you work with matters. I recently helped a couple buy their dream home even before selling their current one. They were both very busy and didn't have time to sell the traditional way. HomeLight's Buy Before You Sell program was a game changer. They were able to buy and sell on their own schedule. It was so easy and they were thrilled. See how you can buy before you sell at homelight.com today.
Marley drank 2 quarts of cooking oil. I called my vet and they were like, you need to bring him here immediately. I used to constantly avoid going to the vet because I knew that it was gonna cost me a bomb if it weren't for Fetch. So it's been the ultimate peace of mind, and the feeling that I get when my claims are reimbursed is like this winning moment. If you have health insurance for your kids, why wouldn't you for your pet?
Get paid back up to 90% of vet bills with Fetch Pet Insurance. Get your free quote at fetchpet.com.
Hello and welcome inside Fox Weather First. We hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday. I'm Britta Merwin.
Hey there, I'm Craig Herrera. I hope you're enjoying the start to the month, March. You know, March, it does this, a whole lot of this. Temperatures, severe weather, a lot to cover. But also, guess what? We've got a total lunar eclipse underway early this morning, and the moon will glow red for nearly an hour. If you see it, we want to see your photos. Please scan the QR code on your screen right now, or you can go to foxweather.com/connect to send us your photos, maybe even video of the total lunar eclipse.
You know, if you live in the Northeast, it's going to be tough to see that total lunar eclipse because we are waking up to this, a bunch of blah. We got rain, we got snow, we got freezing rain, and a lot of cloud cover. So it's all adding up to just an unfortunate morning commute. It's not a ton of ice or snow, but it is enough at a very inconvenient time that we're going to have some impacts here. So Philadelphia right now, some wet snowflakes, temperatures at 35. D.C. is staying above freezing with rain.
D.C., Baltimore, the entire area for any commuters there this morning.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough go.
At the airports, this is not really a cancellation setup, but it is a huge setup for delays. And all of this is turning to rain this afternoon, which will keep us in the delay window likely for a lot of these airports. I do want to highlight an area across central PA, parts of Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia. In this zone, freezing rain could lead to some ice accretion over the next 30 minutes. We've been watching the zone for the last couple hours, especially in those low-lying spots in PA, the valleys. You're going to have some cold air pooling there, and just be very careful over bridges and elevated roads. Those are going to be the ones where we see the ice.
Yeah, as far as snow, it's not a lot. A lot of you have clocked in with a couple of inches so far. What's left to come, a dusting to an inch or so, especially across portions of southern New England. We have winter weather advisories. A little bit more, of course, elevation-based for the mountains of West Virginia. But here's some of the numbers for the past 24 hours of sparse snow. That's pretty impressive. The forecast originally was like, say, 1 to 2, but we got some places up to 3, especially with a little bit of orographic lift. This morning, a lot of that, though, will go bye this afternoon, thanks to the rain.
Yes, which is nice. Areas where we have the snow and ice, temperatures and rain will melt that. Notice that New England does hold on to the cold air. So if you live in New England, we're going to keep it snow today. But as we go through the evening commute, we still got rain. I mean, this is just spelling out to be a messy day for the Northeast. You'll notice that we have more rain in the
like a conveyor belt.
The side stage for Wednesday. So we just kind of keep it unsettled. Let's talk about the snow totals here. So folks that live south of I-80 that have picked up on snow overnight, you're waking up to it this morning. Again, that's going to melt. Northern New England, that's where we could pull off some additional accumulations. About 3 to 5 inches of snow for the ski resorts, lower elevations about 1 to 3.
Yeah, skiers are saying keep bringing it on because, I mean, you can have a long season, especially after you didn't really have much of a season past couple of years. The ice accretion, about 1/10 of an inch of ice or less, but you watch this especially through some of the hills across Pennsylvania, the Allegheny. We've got a lot of hills here, and just a little glaze of ice is enough to make you slip, not only on your front doorsteps or in your car on your commute this morning. And again, a lot of this is just for the morning hours. This afternoon, it all changes over. We are getting some of these ice reports coming in so far, freezing rain as well. They're all popping up over portions of the mid-Atlantic, and we'll get a few more this morning for sure, because we still got a ways to go before this is done. We're also going to be tracking a multi-day severe weather event this week that is expected to bring damaging winds, hail, perhaps even a few tornadoes. This stretches across portions of the southern and central plains, and we've got outlooks that take us right through the end of the week from the Storm Prediction Center. Texas, Oklahoma, 2 areas that are highlighted often in these outlooks, and one of them for Friday has now been upgraded. So let's begin with tomorrow. We talked about today earlier. Tomorrow we've got the chance for some of these storms to pop up. Texas, Oklahoma, we've got the chance for some hail. We got some cold air aloft, and you're used to seeing stones in this part of the country. So that's going to be the biggest threat here as we go through the day. We jump ahead to Thursday. Britta, notice right out of portions of West Texas, especially with that dry air. Sometimes you get a dry line set up coming out of New Mexico, sets up just enough with the heat and moisture over Texas where we do have the chance for some severe storms here. Maybe this time we're talking more than just hail.
Yeah, I mean, the chance for isolated tornadoes is growing as we work our way through the end of the week. Heads up, Friday's going to be kind of the pinnacle. We have had an upgrade to a level 3, and we're sitting at a Tuesday looking at a Friday forecast. When the SPC does this, and I'm mentioning the Storm Prediction Center for SPC. Ooh, I just hit my clicker. That speaks to their confidence in the forecast. And many times in this type of a setup, we have a same-day upgrade. They really wait to see those short-term model runs and also looking at the observations day of. What are we going to wake up to on Friday? And it kind of helps identify these specific spots where we have the highest potential of the most destructive storms.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the atmosphere is pretty juiced tomorrow through the end of the week. And we're talking high moisture content getting pumped in off the Gulf of America. You've got some wind shear in some cases, especially during the evening hours. So twist with elevation could produce some of these rotating storms. And some of them do go in through a period of the day where we are not dealing with direct sunlight, and they are popping up in the same spots. Having said that, you are going to watch for some flooding, which we'll go over in just a moment. This is Wednesday, 11 p.m., and some of this will still wake up to some rowdy storms over really close to, say, southern portions of Arkansas, southeastern portions of Oklahoma. Thursday, here's the outlook, but look at the temperatures, man, and we're talking some record
No shocker we have severe weather.
Yeah, no kidding. There's your Friday outlook. That's where we're talking the level 3 out of 5 right now, and to your point, we'll see if that goes up.
We have record-breaking high temperatures anticipated for a good chunk of this week. And when you have temperatures that are 20, 25 degrees above average, and you got cold air on the backside of the system, the clash is there. So all the ingredients are present. Please keep in mind that March does indicate that first month where we see an uptick in tornadoes. Likely, we're probably going to see some isolated tornadoes tomorrow with a higher potential by the time we get to Friday. And this is only the beginning of our spring weather severe weather season.
Yeah,
I mean, May is usually
May.
the peak.
Yeah, that's when things go up, and we talk more about nocturnal storms as well.
And you guessed it, if we have severe storms every day in the same zones, those severe storms will produce heavy rain. But there is a silver lining in this forecast. We have drought in a lot of these areas. We do need the rain. One of those spots, St. Louis, we have temperatures right now that are on the chilly side in the 30s. So bundle up and grab your rain gear. But there's some benefit to be had. The problem is it's always a slippery slope, so to speak, when it comes to a heavy rain forecast. You want the payout, right?
Sure.
You want to get out of drought,
You need it.
but you don't want to deal with a lot of flooding. The good news is in this setup, it is a lower end flood potential. But as we work our way through each day, we kind of have to wake up, take stock at where we're at, how we're handling the rain, because we might have some problems pop up.
Yeah, for sure. You got day after day of it. And in the beginning, the ground is pretty parched. So it might take a little bit of time to get that into the ground. And then once it does, it's like a nice sponge that says, come on in, keep getting it until it gets too soaked, if you will. But when you look at these numbers and you're looking at those wide shades of yellow, that's a wide area of 2 to 3 inches of rain. How about the orange? We're talking more in the way of 3 to, say, 5 inches of fresh rain. And then isolated pockets of 5 to 8. You know this part of the country, you often get times some of these storms overperform. Plus, we talk about Texas into Oklahoma. How many times has that specific area in the SPC been highlighted? And that's where you're likely going to be dealing with that 5 to 8 inch range, which is moisture that we could use, perhaps, maybe even wipe out the deficits that we have here. If not, certainly make a really good dent in them.
So here's Tuesday's outlook for today. Minimal threat, but we'll look out for it. We just kind of have a gravy train today, so to speak, where thunderstorms and showers will go over the I-70 corridor from west to east. So we'll look out for it. Those are also areas where we do have some rivers that are starting to loosen up, and you have some ice jams that are possible. Then on Wednesday, we extend it into these areas that are outlook for severe weather. By Saturday, we have another outlook that has been issued for parts of Arkansas and Texas. So easily, you know, Friday, Saturday is probably the time frame where we're going to have a higher potential for flooding, because at that point we're talking about day 2, 3, and 4 of the same areas dealing with heavy rain, and eventually it catches up with you.
A good thing
Here's
on
the
this
silver
graphic is
lining, though.
the colors are just based on the day, because sometimes the darker the green looks like, oh, it means more rain, but we're still
They're all
level 1
level
out of 4. Yeah.
It's just that every day for, you know,
It just shifts.
5 days in a row, we have a level 1.
Yeah.
There's the silver lining, that potential for drought being busted. It certainly is there. I mean, we have deficits in this area that are generally 5 to 6 inches of rain that is needed. And the forecast is calling for, you know, 5 to 8 inches of rain in some of the hardest hit spots.
Yeah.
So a lot of these big cities are going to see a long range payout after an unfortunate stretch of rainy weather.
No kidding. And a lot of this comes due to the warm-up, and this warm-up is coming for the eastern half of the lower 48. And it may feel like spring for a little while, but New York City could have several days, consecutive days, with temperatures into the 60s. But we may not be able to shed the cold for the season just yet. It is March after all. Stay with us. More Fox weather coming up right after the break.
Behind this curtain is an outdated bath and shower. Imagine transforming this eyesore into a beautiful jacuzzi bath remodel in as little as 1 day.
Are there a lot of design options?
Yes, Jacuzzi has stylish shower walls, designer colors, and premium features like soft closed doors.
Call right now and Jacuzzi will waive installation costs with no interest and no payments for up to a year.
Just step right into your easy entry shower by Jacuzzi. We have durable grab bars, grab shelves.
This is a great safety feature. I love this. It's really beautiful. The quality of it, I'm blown away.
Best of all, it's from Jacuzzi, the most trusted name in water for over 70 years.
Call or go online now to jacuzzibathremodel.com. We're waiving all installation costs, plus 0 interest and 0 payments for up to 1 year.
Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-760-4654.
You know, there is something different about you today. Is it your makeup?
Not quite.
Did you do something to your hair?
It's not my hair.
Did you start a new job?
I did start a new job, but it's not that.
Became a father?
I've always been one.
Money problems?
Who doesn't have them?
What is it then you have to tell me?
Yeah. Okay, well, it's my skin. I've actually been using a new face cream.
Oh, really?
I really am. It fights my eye bags, dark spots, and wrinkles.
Which face cream?
I use Particle's 6-in-1 anti-aging face cream for men, and I've never looked better. Visit particlemen.com and use the coupon on your screen to get 25% off your order. Plus, free shipping and a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Something illegal?
Nah, I'm good, fam.
Go to particlemen.com.
We wanted to sell our home and at the best price, and we needed a real estate agent who could get that done. We're so glad we found HomeLight. HomeLight ranks over 1 million agents based on their actual track record. They crunch the numbers to figure out who is best in your neighborhood, who can sell your home for the most money. HomeLight matched us with Alex. He sold our home in only 2 days for $40,000 over asking. When it's time to sell, the place to go is homelight.com.
This is the story of the one. The one knows that when the big game is days away, the unexpected can put everything on the line. But with a solid game plan and a teammate like Grainger that she can rely on to deliver the product she needs when she needs it, she's confident that she will always win the day. And her team will do the same. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Have you ever been to the airport on a beautiful day just to find out that your flight has been delayed? Weather is often the culprit, meddling behind the scenes. But how? It's all about cascading delays. When storms ground planes at origin airports, the destination airports start to face delays as well. Things can start to snowball when big storms impact multiple travel hubs. Down on the ground, out on the roads, traffic stinks, but it can be a problem up in the air too. The actual corridors in which planes fly can get clogged up. And sometimes when storms are positioned in flight paths, there is less room for all of the air traffic. Travel headaches can be brutal, but Fox Weather can help. Get travel alerts 24/7 right at your fingertips with the Fox Weather app, or watch us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. Fox Weather, weathering it together.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Hey there, I'm Craig Herrera. Hope you're enjoying a nice cup of coffee or some tea. And stick with us right now, because guess what? We've got a blood moon, lunar eclipse, active across the United States. Some areas are going to get a better look due to lack of cloud cover. One area under cloudy conditions, some clouds out there, is Captiva Island, Florida.
Yeah, by the way, thank you, Doug. Just sent this into Fox Weather from Naples, Florida.
So cool.
Grab your phone, scan that QR code, see it, share it. Let's bring in our own Fox Weather meteorologist, Marissa Torres, who is in Florida this morning. Marissa, I know we've been battling the cloud cover. It's good to see you again. How are things looking as we are experiencing this lunar eclipse?
So, I can't see the moon.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. But right, it's just too overcast, you guys. But we had that little break in between you. We are actually now at totality. So this moon should be red and fully blocked with the strongest of the sunlight, because the Earth is now in between the sun and the moon. But it is there. It's just behind some of the clouds. Do you see something? Wait, are we seeing it? Are we seeing it? Okay, we're trying to figure out the great. Let me go around. So we're out here trying to figure out where exactly it is. It's a little bit. Oh, okay, I see it. Okay, so it's a little bit lower in the horizon. Thanks, Will. And so, do you see it, Doug, too?
Yeah.
Okay, so Doug's behind the lens, though. Okay, I'm coming back into the camera shot. Okay, so the moon is, in fact, out there. It's between the palm trees. It's so hard to see, but it is there. It's just a little bit lower in the horizon, and you can see a little bit of the red. So I was able to see, we went from the penumbra into the umbra, right? So into the full shadow. Penumbra is when you have the lightest of the outer shadow, and that is what kicks off the event. So now we're under the umbra. We have the full shadow. And you can see a little hint of red, and the red coloring can change in variation depending on other conditions of the atmosphere, but that is what is unfolding right now. We have 58 total minutes of it. This kind of gives you an idea of some of the lunar phases that we're marching through. This will wrap up just after 7 o'clock, but 58 full minutes of totality if you can get out there, and this shows you the full timing of it all, ending at 7:02 a.m. But during totality, the peak of totality, there is a shot where the sun also rising on the western side, the eastern side. What side am I on? Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Yeah, so this is, okay. So we'll have the sun that's going to be rising. So we should hopefully get a moment where we'll have the sun and the total eclipse moon at the same time. It's a very rare thing, but it can happen, and I have both in my periphery right now. The coloring of red. So earlier this morning, we had on Janet Ivey, the CEO of Janet's Planet. She's been a really fun person to talk to about all of this, but she was able to talk a little bit more about that shading of red. Take a listen.
That blood moon we're talking about happens as Earth's atmosphere filters that sunlight and it refracts those red wavelengths onto the lunar surface. How red it will be will really depend on how much pollution or whatever is happening up there in the atmosphere. It can go darker or lighter.
So I was hoping we'd get more of that, but I did see it as we were waiting between the live shots for a little bit. Either way, it's spectacular, guys. You know, we have billions of people that are going to be able to capture this moment all across North America, Australia, New Zealand, Eastern Asia. So we're not the only ones. And either way, it's still pretty magical. I was more hopeful we'd be able to see it. But if we were standing on the moon surface, you guys, NASA providing this video. So this is if you were living on the moon, looking towards the sun, there is the passing of Earth, and you get the red ring around Earth, which is a perspective that's unique. And by the way, recently learning that the temperature on the moon drops by up to 100 degrees Celsius per hour as you block the ultra radiation from the moon.
Well, that's perfect because guess what? In 20 years, Nick Koser is doing a live broadcast from the moon and will tell us exactly what that feels like. Marissa, we're going to spare you from that live assignment.
Nick loves the cold, so he'll be more than happy with it.
But it's really cool because, Marissa, you know, all jokes aside, I feel like these moments are moments where it kind of feels like we're all together. And there's something very special about that because there's very few times in this crazy world that we live in that everybody can just pause as humanity and take it in. By the way, for our viewers, we're showing you what it looks like in Los Angeles right now. They actually just had a cloud pass over the moon as well. So, Marissa, you're not the only one. The clouds are getting in the way this morning. But, you know, it is a really special thing to get to witness.
Yeah, it is. And I think, you know, obviously it's really unique how they're able to give you the timetable of when the next eclipse will be. You know, it's based on the orbit and all sorts of things that are above even my mental, what I can handle.
We're scientists for the Earth's atmosphere, so.
It's different. Right. I am not a space scientist, but it's incredibly unique. And they've been predicting eclipses for thousands of years. It's just we've refined the equipment. But the next one coming up would be December 31st of 2028 into 2029. Hopefully winter will provide some clear skies for us, so we'll actually be able to see it a little bit better.
And I think that's on New Year's Eve right now, which is kind of cool too, Marissa. That next one, 2028. That is awesome. Well, listen, we appreciate you. Great to see you out there. You guys are getting ready for Beach House, so this was kind of a little added benefit for you and the team out there. Marissa Torres from Captiva Island, Florida. Thanks so much, and we're looking forward to Beach House as well. By the way, if you happen to see it, roll on it. Scan the QR code on your screen and upload your photos so we can share it with all of America. You can also go to foxweather.com/connect to send us your photos or video of the total lunar eclipse. Hey, well, the East is in for a little of what we are calling Fool's Spring. Temperatures for many states are going to be edging up into the 60s, 70s, even into the 80s in some spots next week. But the bad news is it may not stick around the entire month. It is March after all, and we go into spring. Like in fall, temperatures do this. We go through 3 or 4 days of nice weather, 3 or 4 days of bad weather. It's just what we go through. It's seasons. And for now, late into the week, we've got this area of high pressure that's going to pump in more heat, give us record-breaking heat, but it's also going to pump in a lot of moisture. And having said that, that is going to fuel some of the severe storms that we are talking about right through the end of the week. But how about the record highs leading up to this? When you're talking about 80s, we have more than 90 records happening potentially all the way from the continental divide to the eastern seaboard down through Florida into Texas. Temperatures will be a good 20 degrees above average. Britta, how about Thursday? How many of you are saying, all right, I'm done with winter coats across the southern tier. I've got my shorts and my T-shirt, and you can because you're at 84 in Houston Thursday.
It's going to be warm. Now, folks across the Gulf Coast, we've actually been battling a lot of heat. This is well above average and record-breaking for March, but we've been seeing more of that than cold weather over the last several days. I think to the north, that's where we really feel the difference because we have been significantly cold, and now we're going to the significantly warm category. And it's going to feel like a huge change of pace. I mean, Chicago, we're looking at upper 60s. But no shock why we're talking about severe weather in the forecast when you look at these record-breaking highs across the South.
Yeah, Nashville's record, by the way, it goes back to 1910, 1974 for Birmingham. It's not, those are a couple of spots that are looking at potential records or tying them as well. 1956 for Roanoke, Virginia. If you get to that 80, you would tie that. Come Saturday, the heat holds on across the south and southeast and even to the northeast. You still have some nice, decent weather back into the 50s for a place like New York, Chicago back into 60 as the cold air moves through on the backside of that energy. And potential records on Saturday will be mostly across Florida, Georgia, and right into portions of East Tennessee.
And with stormy skies ahead of us, guess what? We're expecting heavy rain. And when you have heavy rain in the forecast every single day in the same areas for about a week, you have to unfortunately encounter flooding. And when we look at the weeks ahead, flooding is a big part of spring, especially if you live across the mid-Mississippi River Valley, the Central Plains, and looking at the Southeast as well. So let's talk about safety here. How can you look at a flood risk zone and a forecast that does feature a lot of rain and use that information to stay safe? Well, you need to know the different types of flooding that we can encounter. We have flash flooding, which is what we're really discussing when we show you those flood outlooks, those big green areas where we have that high potential for flooding. We're talking about too much rain in a short amount of time. And then in urban areas, you get the street flooding. But even in low-lying spots, the water starts to creep up. Well, if you have that day after day, eventually it's all running off into the rivers, and we also have snow melting to the north that fills the rivers as well. And then we have river flooding. Now, river flooding tends to be at a slower pace, and we can actually forecast how high the river is going to rise in what time frame. So that's all information that you can use to really help put yourself into a safer position. Now we have to talk about the watches and the warnings. So when you get a flood watch, that means that conditions are prime, but it's not happening just yet. Just make sure that you're very vigilant. You're understanding what's happening around you. But once you get that flood warning on your Fox Weather app, that's when you need to react. You need to make sure that you're in a safe spot, seeking higher ground. You never want to be in a flood zone when you have a flash flood warning in effect. And it's about being very cognizant of the conditions around you and having a way to get you and your family in a safer position. If you live in a flood zone, always have multiple ways to evacuate. You never want to just put all your eggs in one basket, because sometimes your evacuation route gets flooded and you have to take another route. Now, within a flood warning, there's different levels of a flood warning, and we always tell you the details, but those details, very important. You have a baseline flood warning. That's going to be really issued for street flooding, things that are a nuisance, Craig, but things that you can at least get away from. Once we go into considerable and then catastrophic, we're talking about threat to life and property. So anytime you get that flash flood emergency, that top tier for a flood warning, you need to make sure that you're seeking higher ground and getting to a safe spot.
Well, snow and ice in the mid-Atlantic is now shifting into, you guessed it, the Northeast. And how about that? It is the morning commute. We'll give you the timing, what to expect, and what you can expect for the rest of the day when Fox Weather First comes right back.
Over $50 a month. Same coverage, same data, same talk, same cell phone.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner, always.
A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners.
If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it.
What are you doing tonight?
If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravite. Visit trygravite.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
Trygravite.com.
By the way, Marissa, this week it's a Fox Weather Beach House. I can't wait. We gotta get there. Let's go.
Icing on an airplane is one of the biggest dangers in air travel. It messes with the aerodynamics of a plane, making flying difficult and crashing easy. Luckily, airlines have a solution: de-icing. The process is common throughout the winter, but how exactly does it work? Let's talk a little chemistry. First, they use a heated fluid. It contains pressurized water with a chemical mixture that melts off the dangerous ice. Now, once the ice is removed, crews apply an anti-icing solution.
So you'll have anti-ice on the engine, the wings, and of course the windshield.
The anti-icing fluid prevents ice from forming by lowering the freezing point on the plane. Some solutions lower it to under -50 degrees. Stay ahead of the storm with Fox Weather. Get travel alerts 24/7 right at your fingertips with the Fox Weather app, or watch us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. Fox Weather, weathering it together.
Hello and welcome inside Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for spending part of it with us today. I'm Craig Herrera. We appreciate you joining us this morning. So much to break down. It is March, severe weather going on, temperature swings, all of it. But guess what else we have going on? Total lunar eclipse underway early this morning. Look how cool that is. Oh, Jackie, thank you for sending this in. It looks like, is that Roland, Oklahoma? What a great shot.
And I'm not sure what star is off to the side. We got to do a little research on that.
Yeah.
This one is from Bozeman, Montana, from Dylan. By the way, if you want to get in on this, go ahead and take out your phone, scan the QR code, because you can show all of America your view of the total lunar eclipse. But Dylan, great shot out of Bozeman, Montana. You can see that blood red color to the moon.
Hey, thanks for sharing with us, for sure.
Meanwhile, it's going to be hard to see the lunar eclipse in the Northeast because we're waking up to rain and snow. Yep. There's a live look-see outside in Gettysburg, PA. We got rain, temperatures below freezing. So freezing rain is unfortunately a flavor of the morning commute. And we have to be really careful because we could see some ice build up on some of the roads. Philadelphia, State College, both reporting some freezing rain. Meanwhile, in New York, we're still dry, but it's quickly approaching, folks. So be very, very careful. In Pittsburgh, we're crossing back over to rain, but you're right there on the borderline. And really, honestly, central PA is going to be one of those spots where likely we will see some ice buildup. The good news is this all changes over to rain this afternoon. It's really the morning that's tricky, with the exception of New England. You guys do stay snow later today.
That's the only spot. And these winter weather advisories are due to that snow. We've had reports of 2 to 3 inches of snow in some cases. Overall, what's left is maybe dusting to an inch or so. You can see some of the reports coming in over the past 12 hours.
This
and a lot of this is over
rain.
hilly terrain. Yeah, when you're trying to get on the road and you're coming out of your house and you got some hills to go through to get to work, it's going to be tough. How about this from Ashburn, Virginia, also dealing with the wintry mixer. I love where you can see the radar and then the ground truth, and look at visibility. It's not all that great.
Yeah, we got a lot of cloud cover. To your point, Craig, we've stacked up a couple inches of snow. In Virginia, we'll cross back over to rain by lunchtime. So this snow is going to be covered in rain and pretty much eroded by the time we get to the evening commute. About 1 to 2 inches of snow reported in parts of northern Maryland. So here's that transition. Again, it kind of happens around lunchtime. With the exception of northern New England, you guys hold on to those temperatures below freezing. But here's a snapshot of the evening drive. Boston, New York, Philly, and D.C. all dealing with rain, which is better than this morning, but it's still inclement weather. The whole day is kind of a wash, and we're going to see delays.
Yeah, remember your umbrella if you're getting ready to head out the door, because what's coming through now turns to the rain later on. Plus, we've got almost like a little train going through as we go through early tomorrow morning. Rain for many of the same spots from portions of the Ohio River Valley back through the Mid-Atlantic and even to portions of the Northeast. So, you know, it's not like we're done with it just yet. Look at that wave coming in as we go through the middle part of the week. To your point, Britta, all of this cold air will bring more snow, especially to the higher elevations of New England. And, man, that is great news for those ski areas. Man, they just keep packing it in.
They've had a great season.
Yeah.
For PA, we do have ice issues this morning. This will disappear as we go closer to the evening commute. With the rain coming in, we can get rid of, you know, a 1/10 of an inch of ice, which would really be I think that would be generous in terms of how much ice we're expecting. But central PA, make sure you guys are really careful this morning.
Well, we're also going to be tracking a multi-day severe weather event that goes right through this week. It does come with the chance and the threats of damaging winds, hail, even a tornado or two. This does include the central and southern plains, and Storm Prediction Center already upping the ante on the threat for Friday. So let's begin with what we have through this week. You got a big dip in the jet. It allows the cold, drier, denser air to come in from the north, and then you've got that warm, humid, moist air just keeps pumping in off of the Gulf. The moisture, the dew points are going up. Plus, we're talking about record heat that we've been talking about. So this is the perfect setup for us, and it is that time of year, right? As we look to tomorrow, a level 2 out of 5, and these have been coming out since yesterday. These outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. Texas and Oklahoma looking at the chance for some hail, especially with the cold air aloft. In Texas and Oklahoma, it's that time of year where you start to see things ramp up for severe storms, and you're going to be looking at this at least through Friday.
Yeah, and make sure you're smart with where you park your car, because we will have that potential of having the storms last after sunset. So you've kind of closed up your day, but the threat is still there. Isolated tornadoes will be possible. I think we're going to battle a larger issue with that as we close out our work week, because each day we kind of up the ante for the intensity on some of these storms. As we take a look at tomorrow during the day on Wednesday, you'll notice as we go into the afternoon, a little more ignition. So, you know, we'll look out for these morning showers. Sometimes that can stabilize the environment, but everything is showing that we really become unstable as we go into the afternoon and the evening time frame. And they linger kind of into the morning time frame. So most likely here on Fox Weather, by Thursday or Friday morning, we'll be tracking active radar. There's a look at Thursday's outlook.
Yeah, that level 1 goes up into portions of the plains. The level 2 in red, once again, highlighting portions of West Texas, the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, into southern portions of Kansas here. We do have the chance at this point to throw more on the board with what we expect, aside from just large hail, damaging winds, chance for tornadoes. Friday's outlook, this is what I was talking about. This morning, a change to this outlook from yesterday. Today is Tuesday. We're already looking at a level 3 storm threat, so watch to see if that goes up, especially closer to late Thursday night or even as early as Friday morning. Storm Prediction Center will watch this closely, see what lines up here. It's the perfect setup for some pretty large storms that could be rotating. And Friday's threat is probably the most significant. We're priming the atmosphere each day leading up to this, and even though we have severe storms each day, it doesn't take away from the energy come Friday that's still going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is working with temps in the 80s throughout the entire week. So that is going to be part of this scenario where that energy supports some of these storms. And with temperatures in the 80s, yeah, these storms are going to hold on to a lot of moisture in addition to that tornado threat. So let's talk about the flooding concerns. With these storms kind of moving over the same areas each and every day, we'll have to wake up, kind of take stock in how much rain we have picked up and where it's fallen, because we'll continue to see that flood potential evolve. St. Louis this morning, no flash flood warnings to worry about, but it's a cold rain at that. We got 40 degrees right now. St. Louis has the potential of picking up 3 to 5 inches of rain all the way through the middle part of next week. Now, there's going to be spots across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas that could reach over 8 inches of rain. It'll be isolated, but we'll have some overperforming spots for sure.
Yeah, especially when you look at places outside of Oklahoma and Arkansas, the moisture just keeps coming in. You add heat. Heat, as you know, we hear say it all the time, it holds more moisture, and we've got a column right above you that has a ton of moisture, and you squeeze it all out, you are in business. Take a look at these rounds, and these storms that keep popping up in the same locations will give us that chance for these flooding conditions. Look at this map that we have here. You're looking at the Tuesday, level 1 out of 4 flash flood threat. That's that lighter shade of green. Level 2, on Wednesday, it's still a level 1 out of 4, but the area expands in coverage. So just because we're going darker in color, it's just based on the day. The level threat for the flooding stays the same. And then Friday, we're still at a level 1 out of 4 threat, but now we're talking about Texas, into Oklahoma, even to portions of Arkansas, and to Missouri as well. Missouri, I'd watch closely. I think some of these storms, especially tomorrow through Thursday and Friday, you might be dealing with pockets of heavier rain that maybe could lead to some localized flooding.
And you can tell where we have that overlap. It coincides with the forecast being a little more extreme for Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas, just because you have several days of that level 1 threat. We do have drought, so that's the silver lining here. We'll see a long-term benefit. A couple days after the water subsides, we will have the benefit of hopefully erasing some of these deficits. Little Rock needs 6 inches to catch up. Your forecast is 3 to 5, so we'll get pretty close there. But look at Indianapolis, St. Louis, Cincinnati, also Dallas. You guys all have a forecast that would erase your departure, and we could really kind of wipe the slate clean. So yes, we have that flood potential, but there is a payoff here. Looks like we'll have above average precipitation chances for this zone all the way through the middle part of March. Craig?
Let's talk storms and travel. Some of these storms could really make a mess for travel conditions. We look right now at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, and this morning you've got some stormy conditions, rain, and poor visibility out there. Let's get you going with the travel board right now. Lots to highlight. Let me begin with the airport active reports. Notice we got a lot of de-icing going on from Baltimore to Akron, Washington, D.C., and into Dulles. Now, D.C. has also had 18 canceled flights. New York, JFK has had 11 canceled flights. A lot of this due to the active weather that we're watching. So far, we have more than 1,100 commercial flights in the air, and we've had 102 cancellations. Again, 18 out of D.C., 11 out of JFK, and Miami's had 9 so far. Check with your carrier if this is where you are planning to fly out of or if your flight is coming from there. You can also check your app. Where's my flight coming from? I'm in a sunny part of the country. Oh, but it's coming from a place that's not so sunny. I-95, we talked about the freezing rain this morning, a concern, and a little bit of snow, and then rain on the backside of this. This is from D.C. clear up into Boston. You got a wintry mix for the morning hours for New York all the way to Philly. Then we'll see rain this afternoon. As far as the rest of I-95 up into New England, we're dealing with mostly snow and some gusty winds up to 35 miles per hour. So travel here perhaps a little slow due to the snow and a little bit of wind at times. How about Interstate 80? This is from Ohio to Pennsylvania. For the morning hours, we've had some freezing rain. We'll see this turn back to rain during the afternoon. That will likely slow you down for the evening commute yet again. And then as we look at I-70 from Topeka to St. Louis, you just saw that live shot in St. Louis where we've got the rain. We also have a few isolated thunderstorms in the mix this morning, and we'll see some chance for some of these thunderstorms this afternoon. Most of these just coming in with some heavier rain. That's a look at the stormy conditions across portions of the Ohio Valley today. If this is maybe you're driving by car or you're headed to the airport, you could see some slowdowns there. As far as the Northeast and New England, we talked about that winter mix for the morning hours. Guess what happens? By this afternoon, Britta, we're talking a lot of rain except for portions across New England. Mostly snow there. So remember the umbrella if you haven't gone out just yet.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to be a sloppy mess. But thank you for staying with us this morning on Fox Weather. Whether you're waking up to rain or snow or a little bit of clear skies, we do this to be a part of your life, and we appreciate you waking up to be a part of ours. Coming up next, more Fox Weather right around the corner. Stay with us.
About the cost of a bathroom remodel that could go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bath or shower with a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel that's safer at a price you can afford. We're waiving all installation costs and postponing all payments for up to 1 year.
Oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Oh.
From soft closed shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats that combine safety and style. It's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your one-day installation, and start loving your new bath or shower right away.
Call or go online right now. We are waiving all installation costs and offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-384-4402. Call now.
Golf has never been closer to the heart of this country. For the love of the game and for the love of the country, Straight Down exists thanks to American manufacturing and the movement to celebrate all things American made. We love this game and we love this country. Join us on this journey to bring back American made.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner, always.
A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners. If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it. What are you doing tonight?
If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravitate. Visit trygravitate.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
Trygravitate.com.
I have a structured settlement and I call J.G. Wentworth 877 cash now.
I am an annuity, but I need cash now.
Call J.G. Wentworth 877 cash now.
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Call J.G. Wentworth 877.
Call 877 cash now to get a $100 gift card for a free quote.
I'm Fox Weather's Stephen Morgan, and today we're talking about eclipses. There are two main types, solar and lunar. Similar but different, two sides of the same coin, and it's all about the alignment of the Earth, Sun, and Moon. Lunar eclipses occur when the Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, casting a shadow on the lunar surface. The Moon appears to get darker with a reddish glow, which is why they're typically called blood moons. Solar eclipses occur because the Moon passes between the Sun and Earth, casting a shadow on the Earth's surface. In the path of totality, the Moon will block out the Sun's light, and at the surface, the temperature might even drop. These don't last long, only a few minutes, and only where the Moon is casting its shadow. Now, a lunar eclipse can last for hours and be seen anywhere as long as the Moon is over the horizon. Now go out, if you can, and look up. There's so much to see. Know your Fox weather.
Welcome back to Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin. We have Craig Herrera here this morning, and we are tracking thunderstorms. Each and every day, it's going to get really busy between now and this weekend. And unfortunately, with those rounds of storms, we got to talk about the severe component and then, of course, the flood component as well. These storms are going to produce a tremendous amount of rain, also running the risk of damaging winds, large hail, and yes, even tornadoes. So let's kick things off with today's outlook. Today's kind of day one, and it comes in two rounds. We'll look out this afternoon across parts of Oklahoma, but then later tonight, we could see some storms for Kansas and Missouri. Even after we go to bed, that could be rocking and rolling. So a good reminder, If you're watching us on another platform, your TV, guys, we have a free app. Download it. Make sure that you're ready to go. The storm energy is there. Again, we're just waiting for that daytime heating. Look at Oklahoma, a couple action spots as we get closer to this afternoon. And then here is round number 2 up by Kansas and Missouri. Of course, that happening in the overnight hours.
Yeah, and having said that, we'll watch for just this first round, but we're not done there. We go through the rest of the week, and as we look at the severe outlook for tomorrow, it is bumped up to level 2 out of 5 now. Does include Texas, Oklahoma, and into portions of Arkansas. I would even say, a little bit of heavy rain there for portions of southern Missouri. Friday is the big one. This is the big update that came in just this morning from the Storm Prediction Center, now at a level 3 out of 5. And this is a significant threat when we're talking about the chance for some larger storms producing the chance for some tornadoes, hail, wind. It also is an outlook that is, today's only Tuesday, and the confidence is high for these storms to pick up by Friday. So we'll watch perhaps late Thursday into Friday, see if it remains the same, if it goes up a little bit, and if it will shift just a little bit in area. But overall, that general area will be dealing with the storm threats. You talk about flooding, my friend. Man, look at the rain forecast right through Tuesday.
Yeah, the problem is how long this stretch is lasting. It's only a level 1 flood threat, but we have one every single day. So as we get closer to Friday, Saturday, we have to see where the rain has collected and if we have some hot spots that we have to talk about. So today's level 1 risk is up across the I-70 corridor. It's more of a conveyor belt setup, isolated issues, most likely nuisance flooding.
Yeah.
As we go into Wednesday, same zone, but we pull it back into Arkansas and get closer to Texas, and that's really going to be the focus spot for Friday and Saturday, is Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Again, all of these are level 1 threats, but we have to see how everything collects.
Yeah, and a lot of these spots are locations that could actually use it. We've got some deficits and some drought conditions out here. So it's something that we need when you think about agriculture and farming and water supply. It's something that we need to catch up on. By the time we get to the end of the week, we may actually wipe out some of those deficits, which would be nice because we could certainly use it, especially when you think about all the moisture that we need. Look at the forecast on the right side of your screen and the departure. So, Britta, we could actually wipe some of these out.
Yeah, a really good opportunity here for places like Dallas, Little Rock, Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Cincinnati, although we do have to look at that flood potential. Once we get on the other side of the threat zone, we could see a huge payoff and some benefit to a rough patch.
Well, starting today, the Storm Prediction Center is announcing a new metric that's going to help folks better prepare, especially when we're talking about some destructive storms in the forecast. It's called conditional intensity. It's meant to supplement the current forecast that you see on Fox Weather.
The Storm Prediction Center spoke about the need for these changes over this past weekend. Take a listen.
The black hatching. For those that don't know, this is how we communicate the storm intensity, whether that means extreme straight-line winds, destructive hail, or catastrophic tornadoes.
Here's the problem. Under the old system, we only used hatching when the expected coverage of significant severe weather was high enough. You will see 3 new intensity levels. Level 1 means significant severe weather is possible. Level 2 signals a dangerous environment like intense tornadoes or extremely large hail. Level 3 is rare. It's reserved for historic outbreak level intensity, such as violent tornadoes or intense derechos.
So what do the changes actually look like, and how is this all going to work? We're going to take you step by step here to prepare you for what is really going to be our biggest tool, not only in the days ahead, but really the weeks ahead. So threat levels, they're not changing. That's not going to be changing at all.
This is what you're used to seeing.
Exactly. And that will stay strong. So we're looking at level 1 through 5 for the outlook for severe weather for the day. What is going to be changing are the specifics of the intensity of type of weather that can happen within this severe weather zone. So let's take the impact of tornadoes. This is what you used to see in the forecast. A huge area where we could see EF2 or stronger. This is going to get a lot more specific and honed down.
And when you think about that, before it was EF2 or greater, so that didn't even compare EF2, EF3, EF4, and EF5. So now you have a better indication of where we could see the strongest storms, whether that's EF2, EF3, or EF4, or even EF5. This is a little more honed in, which is great because it gives such a broad area a more, specified area to watch for those intense storms.
Yes, and identifying where the most destructive tornadoes could occur. Let's move on to straight line winds, which is a huge component of severe weather. Not only are we honing in on the wind speed, this is what you used to see, but now we have 3 levels where we're really going to talk about the intensity of those strong straight line winds, but the type of straight line winds. Are we talking about bow echoes, derechos? These are really impactful weather setups that can lead to an immense amount of destruction. So having that detailed information per location is key in really communicating the risk level for you and your community. Let's talk about hail. This is what it used to look like. Again, pretty generic,
2
right?
inches or greater.
Now we're honing down.
Yeah, now we're seeing where that 2 inches or greater can be, because you notice that's still the big purple area, but now you're talking about specifically in this graphic, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. So you get a better idea of where you expect to see the larger hailstones. Not that you're not going to see it in the rest of that level, that purple level, but that hatched area is where you're likely going to see the largest, or the biggest threat for the largest stones there.
Yeah, this is just another great push by, the National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, and now the Storm Prediction Center. There's been this push to really make it a lot more communicative.
You understand. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's get to the east and what we are calling Fool's Spring. That's not very nice, but it's true.
I'm happy to be fooled.
It's true. Temperatures across many states are edging into the 60s, 70s. How about even the 80s for some spots next week? But the bad news is, as you know, it may not stick around the entire month. Everybody's asking me when I go to the gym, they're like, hey, this is it, right? No more cold weather. I'm like, dude, it's March. You don't know. It could change just like that. This is what we do in March with the temperature swings. We do have an area of high pressure pumping in the heat, pumping in the moisture, fueling the severe storms, fueling the flood threat, but also fueling those record highs. We are talking about more than 90 record highs possible, extending all the way over the eastern, really 2/3 of the lower 48, where temperatures will easily be 20 degrees above average. How about Thursday? Look at all of the 80s on the map for the southern tier, even all the way to Raleigh. You're at 78, Richmond 77, Nashville at 78. We don't stop there. You just pump it up a little farther north. People in Chicago, guaranteed you're going to be out by the lake there, lakeside for sure.
Oh,
67.
absolutely. By the way, this is why we're going to have the severe weather.
Exactly.
It's a huge ingredient. So all of our weather stories are very much connected. But you know what? For folks ahead of that severe weather potential, this is going to be a really warm day. For folks down south, you've had a lot of heat, so this is just going to be a continuation. We're looking at afternoon highs in the 80s, but it is record-breaking, and it's not normal. This is not the type of heat that we even experience across the south.
May tie a record from 1956.
Yeah, you're expecting temperatures in the 60s and 70s. We're talking mid to upper 80s.
Yeah, no kidding. How about Saturday? We've got plenty of warm weather for you still in the mix, especially across the south and southeast. Up and through New York, you're still at 50. That's gorgeous, and you're still well above average. So you're not quite at the extreme level as you are across the south, but we're still going to see some very warm temperatures. We could see some records Saturday, especially across the south and southeast. In this case, Atlanta's record goes back to 1974. Birmingham back to the 1950s as well. So enjoy this nice bit of spring, because you never know when it's going to drop.
Absolutely. And now that we are in meteorological spring, big changes are on the way. Of course, spring means more daylight. We're going to have temperatures that will be climbing. But as we mentioned, it does mean, yes, severe weather season is here. And we're already seeing this take place this week. We have Arctic air that is going to be matched up with warm Gulf air. And that sets a dramatic stage for dramatic weather. And we see this every spring, and of course we see it in the fall as well. Now, meteorological spring, if you're wondering, well, what does that mean? It's still cold outside. When it comes to weather records, you have to have a defined time frame to hold those records in. Astronomical spring, it changes because it's off of the sun angle. So you might have a couple extra days thrown in or subtracted year to year. But meteorological spring, starting on March 1st and ending on May 31st, it's the same defined time frame. So it gives us that ability, Craig, to really capture, okay, was this a warm spring, a cold spring? Did we have a lot of severe weather? It gives us a vantage point.
Those
but
3 months are very similar, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I think what people really notice, especially in March, is the increased daylight,
Yes,
especially if you live up to the north.
Yes. You're gaining about 100 minutes of sunlight.
We both have lived in the red zone.
We have, yeah. I talk, it's summertime, you wait for this. Because when you go through the winter, it's dark a little bit faster and you don't have as much daylight. So yeah, you're getting more daylight. The days are still the same. You still have 24 hours in a day.
But
it's just how much sunshine do you have. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, look at the southern tier. Even you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's less noticeable. If you live in, Del Rio, Texas, you're not going to, be stacking on a couple hours. But you do have an extra 30, 45 minutes of daylight.
Yeah.
Looking at the forecast, it looks like we're going to be warm and dry in the southwest. That's a huge flag for our spring forecast.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have snow or rain in the winter. Now we're looking at a dry spring. We're setting up for a massive wildfire concern for folks that live to the west. It's kind of a tough one to see that in the forecast. Meanwhile, above average precipitation is expected for the Great Lakes. We do have a setup here where, of course, we're going to see severe weather. This is historically where we look for severe weather across the Central Plains, moving into the southeast. That's what we see in March. And then as we go into April and May, it expands and it gets worse. I mean, May is our peak month for tornadoes in our country.
Yeah, you're talking about most spots east of the Continental Divide, clear over to almost the eastern seaboard and north to south for most of the a good chunk of the country. You talk about this, and we also talk about these storms through May. A lot of these, by the way, do become nocturnal, too. We see the numbers go up this month and more so into April and May as for nocturnal storms.
And we want to thank you for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. We want to make sure you download that free Fox Weather app, too.
Yeah, because when you do, you turn on the notifications, you get the alerts for the weather no matter where you are. We're with you for all seasons, for all America. And guess what? We have more Fox Weather right up after this break.
Your data is like a single domino. The moment it's stolen, it starts a chain reaction that puts the information that guards your assets at risk. 1 in 3 Americans have been a victim of identity theft. Are you willing to risk it?
When I saw zeros on that screen as my bank account balance, I went to immediate panic.
$21,000 just gone.
I opened my account and $30,000 is missing. Like $30,000. I have no idea what to do.
If your personal information is stolen, are you prepared to pick up the pieces alone? LifeLock is the leader in identity theft protection and restoration.
Once LifeLock got involved, everything changed.
With LifeLock, if your identity is stolen, they'll step in and fix it so you don't have to, guaranteed. Our highly trained U.S.-based restoration specialists contact institutions, dispute fraudulent charges, close compromised accounts, and even procure legal support far beyond the capabilities of your bank or credit card company.
LifeLock pursued this case further than I ever would have imagined.
If you call right now, you'll get LifeLock for just $9.99 a month for your first year. And as extra protection, all LifeLock memberships include the $1 Million Protection Package. Our members receive reimbursement for stolen funds and personal expenses, like lost wages, as well as coverage for lawyers and experts up to $3 million in total.
When the bank refused to reimburse my stolen money, the $1 Million Protection Package came through for me.
Our restoration guarantee and $1 Million Protection Package are included in all memberships with no additional fees.
I think it's natural to think that you can do this on your own. You can't. You need an expert in your corner.
Call 800-710-4587 and use promo code TV35 or go to lifelock.com/TV35 to join today.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner, always.
A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners. If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it.
What are you doing tonight? If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravite. Visit trygravite.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
Trygravite.com.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you're having a great start to your morning. Perhaps some breakfast, coffee, tea, whatever gets you going. Some of you need a little more time, by the way. And don't forget the umbrella. Northeast, portion of the Ohio Valley, right into New England.
So hurry up and then slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't need you to rush on the streets.
No.
Kind of a good sampling that we have of what we're dealing with across the Northeast. We got rain. Freezing rain. We don't have snow in this shot, but it's out there. Some of you guys in Virginia waking up to a fresh 1 to 3 inches of snow. So let's go ahead and take a look at radar. Right now in Philadelphia, some wet snowflakes and rain kind of mixing in. So a sloppy start in Philly. Meanwhile, State College, we have freezing rain. And that's really the biggest concern for parts of PA and Maryland right now, is that we're at the coldest part of the day, but this warm air is trying to push in. And so that's creating this vertical temperature profile where we have freezing rain. And the folks have really expanded this region that we're concerned about. All morning long, it's really been about central PA, but now you can tell that we're pushing this into northwest portions of New Jersey. We're just coming up on the beginning of the school day and folks getting to work. Be really careful. This now includes, the suburbs of New York City. So you're talking about Metro Rail that could be impacted. Philadelphia is in this, as well as Baltimore. I-95? Yeah,
good
the
chunk of the
suburbs of
I-95
D.C.
corridor. Yeah, and just trying to get to, I know, because so many of you live out of the city, and then you try to get to the city, no matter which city it is. This is going to slow you down.
We're going to have disruptions.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
And then the evening commute would be mostly rain, but Pittsburgh, finally, I think you finally made it. Yeah, because we were watching you all morning long. You were freezing rain, started to kind of switch over. Now that nose of warm air has made it right into portions of western PA.
And that's the direction we're all going, with exception of northern New England. By lunchtime, all of this nasty wintry mix will change over to rain. But until then, we got the winter weather advisories in effect. Please keep in mind that for folks that live in northern New England, you'll stay with a snow profile. So just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like on radar as we kind of work throughout our day, I'll pause the clock at lunchtime into the afternoon. I-80 kind of a good cutoff. North of I-80, we're still trying to get to a better spot. South of I-80, we're all rain. And then by the afternoon pickup for picking up your kids after school, we're rain from Boston all the way down to D.C., with northern New England being our snow spot, which will stay our snow spot through the remainder of the day.
Yeah, so there you got a few more inches of fresh snow. Southern side, though, all of the spots that will be getting in the freezing rain or a snow wintry mix this morning, guess what? It's gone. You got warmer temperatures. You've got more moisture as far as rain. You got a few rounds of it. And not only that, but it'll help to melt down or get rid of some of the old snow that we've had from the nor'easter, and even some, I have to say it, from the January storm, which we had out there as well. It's not a lot of ice, by the way. That shouldn't be seeing widespread problems. But when you step out the door, your front door steps could be slick.
And the worst timing that you could ask for.
No kidding. Yeah, especially for the morning commute. Well, aside from this, we're also tracking a multi-day severe weather event that is expected to bring some damaging winds, hail, even a few tornadoes. It does include the central and the southern plains, and it does include the rest of this week. So let's get started with what we expect tomorrow. We broke down today. As we go through the day tomorrow, we've got a level 2 out of 5 severe storm threat. These have been issued from the Storm Prediction Center early on in the game, as early as Sunday. Yesterday, we saw them all the way through Friday. There has been an upgrade. But having said that, today, or through to the day tomorrow, rather, over Oklahoma into Texas, with that storm threat, we could also see some hail. And, this part of the country, you get hailstones, no problem here. Cold air loft.
Easy to pull off.
Yeah.
As we work our way into tomorrow, we have higher potential for severe weather. We do need to look out for those late day storms because they can last past the overnight, after sunset. We're also looking at a level 2 setup for very similar areas on Thursday.
Tell you what, look at that. Yeah, when you talk about
level 1 extends all the way up into the Midwest.
Yeah, and this is, we've got a lot of heat and humidity over the south and southeast, and you got that cold, dry air that's just coming out of portions of the Rockies and the eastern plains of Colorado and New Mexico, and it's a perfect setup for us to get some rotating storms, especially over West Texas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, and into southern portions of Kansas. Now, this is the upgrade, Britta, that we were talking about. Now, on a Tuesday, looking to Friday, we have an upgrade from Storm Prediction Center to level 3 out of 5, and it is early in the game, but confidence is high.
But look at all those big cities in the level 2. Dallas, Chicago, Milwaukee. You guys all have this potential. Des Moines. So although there's going to be a ton of focus on the level 3, because that's where we'll see the most explosive weather, please keep in mind that this is a huge stretch. A lot of Americans are in Friday's outlook, which by far is really the biggest concern. We do have, that confidence in the forecast. When the Storm Prediction Center slaps a level 3, it's a Tuesday, we're talking about a Friday, it really speaks to their confidence in their own forecast. We do have that potential for tornadoes as we sort of show you the evolution of this. This is Wednesday, so during the day tomorrow, it's really late in the day that these thunderstorms start to bubble up. So it's going to feel like a severe weather day. It's going to feel like a spring severe weather day where it's warm, it's muggy, you can feel the humidity, and then all of a sudden those thunderstorms start to build off in the distance.
Yeah, and then some of them in the same spots, too. So a lot of these places, which you saw from the Storm Prediction Center, also dealing with day after day of storms, which will lead to flooding, which we will talk about in a moment. But take a look at these temperatures right ahead of that warm air.
Heat.
Yeah, 80s. And look at the backside of that. That cold air starts to move in. Oklahoma, 57. But look at the incredible difference between Fort Smith and Oklahoma City.
That's a 20-degree temperature change. So that's the clash zone that's helping support the severe weather.
Yeah, for sure. That's Wednesday. How about Thursday? Now we see this shift over portions of eastern or West Texas, rather, Oklahoma as well. That air comes in. Look at Amarillo. You're going to be dealing with some strong winds, dry, dusty winds coming off of New Mexico and Texas. And then we've got the setup for those severe storms. I also worry Thursday evening because a lot of these could be nocturnal. You have enough upper air dynamics to support that. So when the sun goes down, my friend, we're still in business for early morning hours.
And as Craig mentioned, we have a flood potential.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the same areas being hit day after day. And although we need the rain, we don't want too much rain in a short amount of time. And also, we have really dry soil. We have drought conditions. And so it's like we're throwing the rain on top of concrete. Speaking of concrete, there's a live look at St. Louis. They're waking up to wet pavement with temperatures on the chilly side at 40 degrees. So bundle up, grab your rain gear, and get ready for more. St. Louis could pick up over 5 inches of rain over the next week. And there's the zone. Severe weather and heavy rain, it's coming hand in hand, and we're expecting many areas to pick up over 5 inches of rain.
Yeah, and when you look at this, widespread 2 to 3 inches, the 5 inches in the orange. Notice a few pockets that perhaps closer to 8, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this coming out of portions of north and east or west portions of Arkansas into southern Missouri, right down into north Texas as well, because these are these areas where you're going to get day after day of some of this rain, which is beneficial. We need it. But, man, it's a lot. But thankfully, it takes us all the way through the week. Each day that we look at the threat right now, it's a level 1 out of 4. That's the level threat for today, level 1. A lot of these storms are kind of going in the same location over the Ohio River Valley. Tomorrow, we shift regions. And, again, a level 1 out of 4. Come Friday, the level 1 out of 4 expands and moves over into the plains. And then Saturday, now you can see where we have some overlapping into places like Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri, which is where we could see more in the way of those rainfall totals closer to 8 inches.
Yeah, so when you add up all those days, it's a lot of areas that are taking on storm after storm, and you start adding up that rain potential. Silver lining, it does coincide where we have the drought conditions. So again, there will be a long-range benefit. A couple weeks from now, we'll get that drought monitor, and hopefully we will not see as bright of red coloring on the map. Because here's a look at the deficits, and the forecast, for the most part, is in line to erase these deficits. The only spot that might hold on to something is Little Rock, but again, that's up for discussion because it's really hard to identify where we'll see the extreme amount of rain, and somebody will end up with 8 inches of rain. It could be Little Rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it could be your neighbor a few miles down the road.
So that's the silver lining here, but the overall signature in the forecast is above average precipitation through the middle part of the month. And so when you look at your Fox Weather app, I mean, we'll just pick Dallas, for example. That's what you got.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it, you're like, well, that's not great. By the way, for Dallas, you can tell you're kind of behind a front on Saturday, cooler, but then you warm back up for Monday. So it's storm after storm after storm. So you just have to be very vigilant and engaged.
85 supporting some of those storms leading into that, right? Well, guess what? We talked about this warm up. It also includes a good chunk of the eastern half of the lower 48. It may feel like spring for a while. New York City could have several consecutive days of temperatures into the 60s. Loving that. But guess what? Don't shed the winter coat just yet. We're not done with this season. Stay with us. Fox Weather First coming back after the break.
By the way, Marissa, this week it's a Fox Weather Beach House. I can't wait. We got gotta get there.
Go.
Let's go.
Behind this curtain is an outdated bath and shower. Imagine transforming this eyesore into a beautiful jacuzzi bath remodel in as little as 1 day.
Are there a lot of design options?
Yes, jacuzzi has stylish shower walls, designer colors, and premium features like soft closed doors.
Call right now and Jacuzzi will waive installation costs with no interest and no payments for up to a year.
Just step right into your easy entry shower by Jacuzzi. We have durable grab bars, grab shelves.
This is a great safety feature. I love this. It's really beautiful. The quality of it, I'm blown away.
Best of all, it's from Jacuzzi, the most trusted name in water for over 70 years.
Call or go online now to jacuzzibathremodel.com. We're waiving all installation costs, plus 0 interest and 0 payments for up to 1 year.
Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-760-4654.
The West is our canvas, the flag our guide. Golf belongs here. This game reminds us of who we are. Steadfast, grateful, free. Here's to the country we love and the game that brings us together. We are straight down. We are American.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner, always.
A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners. If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it.
What are you doing tonight? If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravite. Visit trygravite.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
Trygravite.com.
Is your washing machine growing toxic black mold? Order Mold Patrol and blast away mold and mildew like magic. Mold Patrol penetrates mold spores instantly and eats away at decay. Then wipe the mess away. The patented formula kills mold and mildew and creates an invisible moisture barrier. Clothes smell fresh. Mold Patrol with drip-proof nozzle, scrub brush, and disposable gloves get the precision grout pen free. Just $19.99 plus processing. Pay $5 extra and we'll double your order. Order now.
Have you ever been to the airport on a beautiful day just to find out that your flight has been delayed? Weather is often the culprit, meddling behind the scenes. But how? It's all about cascading delays. When storms ground planes at origin airports, the destination airports start to face delays as well. Things can start to snowball when big storms impact multiple travel hubs. Down on the ground, out on the roads, traffic stinks, but it can be a problem up in the air too. The actual corridors in which planes fly can get clogged up. And sometimes when storms are positioned in flight paths, there is less room for all of the air traffic. Travel headaches can be brutal, but Fox Weather can help. Get travel alerts 24/7 right at your fingertips with the Fox Weather app, or watch us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. Fox Weather, weathering it together.
Good morning. I'm Fox Weather meteorologist Brenna Merwin. We got Craig Herrera here. Thank you for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. Let's talk about the thunderstorm forecast, folks, because it is aggressive. We have severe weather in the forecast every single day between now and the weekend. And that, of course, is going to lead to thunderstorms over the same areas. And flood conditions, they will continue to pop up day to day. So let's get you updated. We'll start with what's happening today. Here's the outlook. It's a level 1 threat, so the lowest level of concern. But that doesn't mean that's nothing. We're going to have 2 rounds. Some thunderstorms developing later this afternoon in Oklahoma. But overnight, we could have this reignition set up where we do have some more thunderstorms develop between Kansas and Missouri. So this is what it looks like. The yellow is where we have building storm energy. As we start to get into the afternoon, the heat builds up, and that builds up the energy and supports these scattered showers across Oklahoma. Now, as we go into later tonight, tomorrow morning, notice that we have, more thunderstorms that are possible right into Missouri. So we'll have to look out for this zone. Yesterday, it was pasting that second round in Kansas, so there's some give and take to where the conditions are going to be prime. And then we up the ante as we go into, the next day. We're going to have a higher potential for severe weather for Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. We're bumping up to a level 2 for tomorrow.
When we talk about all of the energy, it is there, and we're watching closely. This is going to prime each day, Britta, as we go through Friday, which is not good. You talk about the record-breaking heat across the south. And how about the moisture? The dew points are going way up. Oftentimes when we step out the door in this part of the country, you know the feeling in the air. And you're like, it feels like severe weather day. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to feel like, right? With some wind shear closer to the area of low pressure, maybe even some rotating storms as we go through Wednesday, tomorrow afternoon and evening. The threat continues, and this is new. We've been talking about this morning. The level 3 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center outlook for Friday. It's Tuesday. Confidence is high, and you may even see that go up as early or by late Thursday into early Friday.
Yeah, that level 2 threat goes from Texas all the way up to the Great Lakes. So Chicago, Des Moines, Dallas, all included. But it's the level 3 where we'll have the most destructive weather, and that takes you from the Red River Valley all the way up to St. Joseph. So a good chunk here, a good idea to pre-prep. These will be late-day storms. So if your kids have after-school practices, rehearsals that are going on Friday, you want to have those conversations of where everybody's going to be in the family. You want to make sure that you're not dawdling around, get home, get her to a safer spot in case you do have to shelter with some of these storms. These storms will produce some heavy rain, and we are looking at a flood potential. Lower level, we're looking at a level 1 flood threat, but as these storms move through, just know that we could see some isolated flood concerns as well as a higher potential for a severe component.
Well, a lot of the storms fueled by heat, and the East is in for what we like to call a fool's spring. That's not nice. Temperatures for many states are edging into the 60s, 70s,
but do you pity the
80s. Fool? I do not. I do not, Mrs. T. The bad news is, guess what? It may not stick around all month. It's March, and we often do this with temperatures. You go a few days really warm.
As long as we go up, I don't care.
Then we're going to keep going up, my friend. The south, we got this area of high pressure, clockwise flow around that pumps in the heat and the humidity. The cold air that's bottled up on the northern side of the jet, way up across the northern interior, not even going to really affect us much. In places like Chicago, we'll even get in on the action. Okay, now, so we bumped this up early this morning, more than 100 record highs possible through Saturday. Somebody back behind the scenes is doing a little more work. It's like, hey, we left out a couple more spots. So if you're into record heat, man, this is unusual for this time of year. I have to tell you, I mean, you like spring heat, a lot of you, but this is early, and this is very warm.
But that's been the flavor of the weather across the Gulf Coast. We've been well above average for a significant amount of time. And the kicker there is that we're starting our heat season early, and we're just going with more heat. So kind of a bummer to have an early onset. With this record-breaking high, the air can hold more rain, and we're going to have more instability when these storms bump into this warm, moist air that's hanging around the south. So the ingredient list here, this is a key ingredient to the severe weather story. But Atlanta, you could be breaking a record from 2022. Roanoke, Virginia is expecting 80 degrees. We haven't had that since the 1950s.
Man, that's crazy. Saturday, the Southeast hold on to the heat. We're still pretty mild across places like Chicago, Buffalo, New York. But taking a look at Atlanta, you're still sitting at 83 degrees. So it's day after day after day of heat that eventually starts to take a toll on you. So make sure you're ready for that. We could see more records on Saturday across the South and Southeast, including portions of East Tennessee from Chattanooga to Knoxville. Some of these records, man, Knoxville, it goes back to 1983 and 1986 for Lakeland, Florida. Sunday, we still have some pretty warm conditions over portions of the mid-Atlantic, but New York is still at 62. That's pretty nice, right? Temperatures are going to be well above average. What's average for Atlanta? 62. How about your 20 degrees above that come Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday?
But I mean, gosh, from mid this week to mid next week, we have temperatures significantly above average. For New York City, the last time we've been in the 60s was in November. The average first 65-degree day high happens around this time of year, so it's not a shocker that we can have record-breaking temperatures, but it is going to feel quite nice considering how cold it has been. And with stormy skies ahead of us, guess what? We're expecting heavy rain. And when you have heavy rain in the forecast every single day in the same areas for about a week, you have to unfortunately encounter flooding. And when we look at the weeks ahead, flooding is a big part of spring, especially if you live across the mid-Mississippi River Valley, the Central Plains, and looking at the Southeast as well. So let's talk about safety here. How can you look at a flood risk zone and a forecast that does feature a lot of rain and use that information to stay safe? Well, you need to know the different types of flooding that we can encounter. We have flash flooding, which is what we're really discussing when we show you those flood outlooks, those big green areas where we have that high potential for flooding. We're talking about too much rain in a short amount of time, and then in urban areas you get the street flooding, but even in low-lying spots the water starts to creep up. Well, if you have that day after day, eventually it's all running off into the rivers, and we also have snow melting to the north that fills the rivers as well. And then we have river flooding. Now, river flooding tends to be at a slower pace, and we can actually forecast how high the river is going to rise and what time frame. So that's all information that you can use to really help put yourself into a safer position. Now we have to talk about the watches and the warnings. So when you get a flood watch, that means that conditions are prime, but it's not happening just yet. Just make sure that you're very vigilant. You're understanding what's happening around you. But once you get that flood warning on your Fox Weather app, that's when you need to react. You need to make sure that you're in a safe spot, seeking higher ground. You never want to be in a flood zone when you have a flash flood warning in effect. And it's about being very cognizant of the conditions around you and having a way to get you and your family in a safer position. If you live in a flood zone, always have multiple ways to evacuate. You never want to just put all your eggs in one basket, because sometimes your evacuation route gets flooded and you have to take another route. Now, within a flood warning, there's different levels of a flood warning, and we always tell you the details, but those details, very important. You have a baseline flood warning. That's going to be really issued for street flooding, things that are a nuisance, Craig, but things that you can at least get away from. Once we go into considerable and then catastrophic, we're talking about threat to life and property. So anytime you get that flash flood emergency, that top tier for a flood warning, you need to make sure that you're seeking higher ground and getting to a safe spot.
Well, snow and ice in the mid-Atlantic, now shifting into portions of the Northeast. Just a sloppy commute for many of us, and it doesn't end there. As we go through the rest of the day, we'll give you the timing and what to expect when Fox Weather first comes back.
Woo!
Nick Kosa here. We're back. It's time for Fox Weather Deal, sponsored by Knocking, as we're always here to help you save on products that'll keep you prepared no matter what is in the forecast. To start shopping, go to foxweatherdeals.com. Courtney Kaysen, our resident lifestyle expert, is back with another super cool, kind of futuristic product.
Oh my gosh, and they're from Minolta, which you guys know, a digital optics brand, but so much respect in the category. You've probably had their products in your home for years. These are their 4K HD binoculars, and you can choose to look through the traditional way, or you can look through on the screen, which is awesome, because say right now you're looking at foliage, but when the weather turns chilly, you're looking at wildlife, you can actually snap a picture of what you're viewing, and because these are 12 times the magnification, you're seeing what's 120 feet away, almost as if like crystal clarity 10 feet away, which is awesome. There's an SD card here, so you can transfer it out to your computer, which is lovely. And these just fit a lot more comfortably in the hand. They're lightweight. You can travel with them, camping, cruising, you name it, and have your memories for a lifetime stored and saved.
I love it. An LCD screen on binoculars is something that's been a long time coming, I think.
Absolutely. Our deal price today, phenomenal, $149.99, saving you 50% off.
That is a deal. Courtney, thank you so much. We appreciate that. To purchase one of these and so much more, scan the QR code on your screen or check out foxweatherdeals.com. Happy shopping.
My cell phone bill kept going up. I started looking around, what are our other options? With Consumer Cellular, I'm saving over $50 a month. Same coverage, same data, same talk, same cell phone, simple.
So why am I paying way more for a big wireless plan? What am I getting for my money?
Consumer Cellular gives you the same fast, reliable nationwide network for up to half the cost of big wireless.
Same tower, same coverage.
I feel like people should know that.
They cut my bill just about in half.
I'm saving almost $100 a month.
That's over $1,000 a year.
Not only did I save money, but our coverage was vastly improved. It was fantastic.
There's got to be a catch, and I'm going to find it by going straight to the CEO himself, Ed Evans. What's up, Ed?
Because we serve primarily the 50-plus market today, we know our customers are going to use a lot less data. We can then set our pricing substantially lower than what the big three are able to do on the exact same networks.
Oh, I love that.
My job is to help you save money on wireless, even if you're on an unlimited plan.
My bill with the big carriers was over $300, and with Consumer Cellular, it's about $100.
Our customers ranked us #1 in network coverage satisfaction. And there's no long-term contracts.
When I look at what I had with Verizon, I'm not sure what I was paying extra for.
And yes, you could keep your number, no problem. Want to bring your phone? That's great too. We'll have you wrapped up in about 20 minutes. Really.
We hadn't gone back. We're not going back. We're with Consumer Cellular.
Call now and see how one of our U.S.-based Switch Pros can cut your bill by up to half. That's right, up to half. When you call right now, you'll even save an additional $25. Just use the code SAVE25. And AARP members save even more. Call 1-800-381-4449. That's 1-800-381-4449.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner, always.
A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners. If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it.
What are you doing tonight? If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravitate. Visit trygravitate.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
Trygravitate.com.
This is a Fox weather alert. It is just brutally cold with negative daylight temperatures.
Hey, little buddy. What's up with him?
Cheer up, big guy.
He's such a diva.
Hello and welcome inside Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin.
Hey there, good Tuesday to you. I'm Craig Herrera. Thanks for being with us this morning. Guess what? Total lunar eclipse winding down. But boy, it was cool if you got to see it. The moon glowing red for nearly an hour. Totality is now ending. By the way, if you saw it, look at that great shot from Phoenix. We want to see it. Please share it with us. There's a QR code on your screen right there that you can scan with your phone, or just go to foxweather.com/connect. Share your pictures of the total lunar eclipse with us, or maybe you've got some video. It was so cool, and it's always exciting to see.
And for folks in the Northeast, we're depending on you if you saw it, because we didn't see it. This is what we got. Rain. Freezing rain, cloudy skies, even snow. Parts of Virginia waking up to 1 to 3 inches of fresh snow.
What a bummer for the morning commute, too.
And that's the thing, is that it's not like we're dealing with a big storm.
Nah,
the problem is
timing.
Yeah. Sometimes impact is more about the timing than anything else.
Right.
So we do have freezing rain that's getting into metropolitan areas. Philadelphia, New York, it is really pushing in. It's already over Trenton. So this big catch of folks across PA, New York, Maryland, that are going to be dealing with icy roads. And it is a very small window. I mean, all of this will turn over to rain by about 11 o'clock lunchtime.
Right.
But between now and then, some light icing is possible.
And that's tough because it's that morning commute. Keep your umbrella handy because later this evening, to your point, you will have the rain. Pittsburgh is one example where we had the freezing rain early this morning.
And
now
they're already over to rain.
Yeah, you can see where that warm nose of air has moved in through. So you're seeing some rain over western PA. Higher elevations could deal with some of the higher snowfall totals, especially West Virginia. What is left is not much, and most of it will be over portions of New England, especially just north of Massachusetts. So southern New England, you get in on a little bit of snow before it changes over. Northern portions of New England, you're in the snow all day. Timing-wise, there's 12 o'clock, and now you can see the little bit of snow that we get in some of these metro areas and small towns and cities will get rain on top of that, warmer temperatures, and that will be gone. And this rain is not going to end right about noon. It'll continue through the afternoon commute, so sloppy for the commute home, which is why we say remember your umbrellas.
But at least it's all rain.
Yeah,
for the
that's
evening
true.
Commute.
And it's going to help get rid of the last of the snow that's left over from the nor'easter, even from the January storm.
Expect delays, guys. Even this morning, I would say especially this morning with the ice, but even this evening we'll have slowdowns because of the rain. As we go into tomorrow, we still have some rain that's moving across the area, so we're just kind of unsettled. Less of an impact tomorrow, but still just kind of a ugh day.
Yeah.
The good news is we're not freezing. Today's the last cold winter day, and then our temperatures will continue to rise.
Just in time for the end of the week and the weekend.
Exactly. Northern New England, you guys do stay below freezing today, so that's where we have accumulating snow, and it will snow all day for Northern New England. It hasn't really set in just yet, but it's on the way, and we're expecting 1 to 3 inches of snow for parts of Maine, New Hampshire, and also Vermont. Here's the ice.
Areas.
The ice, again, just for this morning. I think by the time we get to the afternoon, maybe elevation will be a player. You know, in the Brookshires, I'd look out for that. But for these commuting areas in the 95 corridor and also PA and New York State, it's this morning that we're concerned about. Just keep those umbrellas with you as we work our way through the afternoon.
Another concern for us is we are tracking a multi-day severe weather event that is going to bring some damaging winds, hail, maybe even some tornadoes. It includes a good chunk of the southern and central plains. We're going into severe weather season, and the setup as we look to the week ahead is favorable for some stormy conditions. So we take the Storm Prediction Center outlooks that take us all the way through Friday, which, by the way, now have a level 3 out of 5 storm threat for Friday. Each day, it's like the atmosphere is getting primed up. We got this big dip in the jet, cold, dense, dry air behind it, bumping into that warm, very record highs, humid air across the southern plains. Tomorrow, we could see some stormy conditions over portions of Texas and Oklahoma. And a lot of these spots are going to see these conditions each day this week or close to this.
Yeah, I mean, even this afternoon, we'll have a couple thunderstorms in Oklahoma that can turn severe. So we just kind of up the ante each and every day. Level 2 zone takes you from northeast Texas through Arkansas and Oklahoma. We will probably see a higher potential for isolated tornadoes tomorrow in comparison to today. I think today the reports that we get will mainly be hail and strong straight line winds. But again, we just sort of like building crescendo, and Friday's like the day. Not that we're not going to see problems pop up between now and Thursday and Friday because we do have a daily outlook. But it does look to be that, you know, Friday's kind of that top day where everything comes to a head.
Yeah, you almost have two waves, if you will. This afternoon and evening, a couple, and then notice Missouri getting in on some heavy rain as well. Second wave comes through, so a little rowdy this evening over portions of the Red River.
Are you trying to sleep?
Yeah, that's the worst, right? And to early tomorrow morning, northern portions of Arkansas, and you've got a lot of hills. Terrain is so different over northern Arkansas compared to southern Arkansas. Thursday, here's your severe storm threat, and also we got the chance for some big storms, rotating storms as well. What about Friday? Here's that update.
There's the day.
Man.
So right now we're at a level 3. The level 2 extends from Chicago all the way down to Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans in the level 2. So you're going to hear this big focus on the level 3 area because, of course, that's where we have the higher potential for tornadoes and hail. But very important to note that we have a lot of Americans that have this potential on a Friday. So make sure that you're taking this warning, getting a way to get those warnings on your phone. having the conversations with your kids. If you have after school practices, rehearsals, you want all your chickens in a row, nice and close to home.
Yeah, exactly, because it is a Friday, and how many of us let our guard down come Thursday? You're like, Friday, all right, we're the weekend. You can't let your guard down come Friday evening. Here's a look at those temperatures way up, and notice the gusty winds come Thursday coming out of New Mexico, and then Friday we've got some cold air behind this and the severe storms that we'll watch for the plains.
And you can see how warm those temperatures are ahead of these weather systems. That is one of the reasons not only that we're seeing severe weather, but we're going to see flooding. And the flooding potential is much lower and a lower threat than what we have for severe. But it's important to note, especially in urban areas where you can have some quick street flooding that can pop up. You're looking at that video from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Think about these small creeks. Yeah, those will be ones to watch, too. Live look in St. Louis this morning. It's a cold rain, 40 degrees. St. Louis could pick up over 3 to 4 inches of rain over the next 7 days. Highest potential for the large rain totals, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Somebody's going to get 8 inches of rain.
And this is over that stretch, that time frame, because a lot of these happen in the same locations. You talk about heat holds more moisture. A lot of that becomes a little more buoyant, squeezes out more in the way of moisture. And we're going to get rounds upon rounds in some of the same spots. And in the beginning, right, it's been pretty parched. We haven't had a lot in the way of moisture. Here's a look at the threat today. Each day that we go through the week ahead, right now we're looking at a level 1 out of 4 flash flood threat. The attention shifts a little farther south and west come Wednesday. You can see the next shade of green. And then as we look out toward Friday, we'll still see Texas, Oklahoma, southern portions of Missouri. Still level 1, but they overlap each other. And now we're starting to see those rainfall totals add up.
And now you have 3 days in a row of a flood outlook for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. So that's how we're getting that as the hot zone for the highest rain totals, is because you guys are under that outlook day after day. Here's a look at our drought conditions. We are getting what we asked for. We need the rain. The problem is with dry soil, it's like you're throwing buckets on top of cement, so it takes a little time for it to actually appropriately absorb. And then you run into the fact that you get too much rain, and then that leads to flooding. So it comes at a price, folks. The good news is it's a level 1 flood threat. We've seen much worse, but you just need to be vigilant. With these deficits that are in place, the forecast could actually erase the deficits. So if we can get in and out of this with this rainy stretch and just see some improvements, we'll count ourselves lucky. The forecast supports heavy rain all the way through the middle part of March. So here's the next 7 days for Dallas. Yeah, it doesn't look great, right? And then as we take a look at the forecast for St. Louis, a little better, but certainly looking very wet, and also a big temperature swing. I mean, we're in the 50s cold today. We're going to be 80 degrees on Friday ahead of that severe weather.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so we watch this closely. Some of these severe storms will likely slow us down. How about all the rain we just talked about in St. Louis? Here's a look at the airport. And not only are we talking about heavy rain, but low visibility as well. So we had these lines that have moved through St. Louis Lambert International Airport this morning. We're still playing catch up. I want to get to the big board here, because oftentimes when we see the active events going on, this is ground stops, ground delays, de-icing. De-icing is the big story this morning for Baltimore, Akron, Washington, D.C., Dulles, Virginia. So the D.C. airports are dealing with de-icing. And by the way, D.C. has had 18 canceled flights this morning. We've got about 1,700 commercial flights in the air and a lot of delays and cancellations, delays coming out of LAX, Chicago, and D.C. LA's been dealing with delays for a taxi trying to get to and from the gates, but the other 2 airports certainly dealing with some weather. What about driving conditions? It's not all that great on Interstate 90. We talked about freezing rain this morning out of D.C., places like Baltimore. We'll also see the rain later this afternoon and a little bit of snow in the morning hours. Boston at 35. As you go north up I-95, the I-95 corridor, or if you're going from Maine to Boston, you got mostly snow for a good chunk of the day and a couple of wind gusts closer to 35 miles per hour. Another interstate that's going to be watching some stormy conditions this morning is going to be Interstate 80. This is from Ohio all the way to Pennsylvania. We talked about the freezing rain this morning. Stormy conditions this afternoon as far as isolated showers and thunderstorms. And then we'll also see I-70 this morning. I-70 dealing with some showers and thunderstorms, and we'll continue continue those throughout the afternoon, all the way in through portions of Kansas. When we look at the forecast here are the stormy conditions across the southern portions of the Ohio River Valley. We are also dealing with this throughout the rest of the day. So if you're going to be driving here today, if you're trying to get to an airport here today, perhaps maybe some delays. We talked about the de-icing going on across the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic due to the freezing rain this morning. This turns all to rain this afternoon for portions of, say, New York, all the way through New York and to the south there. So, Britta, we'll watch these closely, of course. We'll keep you posted, especially as we go through the week ahead with these severe weather outlooks.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for staying with us here on Fox Weather. We do this to be a part of your life, and we certainly appreciate you waking up to be a part of ours. Coming up next, we'll talk about the nasty, wintry start to the day for the Northeast, and when we finally will see a little more sunshine and a little more heat, some good ways and good weather coming our way. Stay with us here on Fox Weather. We'll be right back.
Eye bags, dark spots, wrinkles.
There's one product that can fight them all.
Only one.
Particle Face Cream.
Particle Face Cream?
Engineered for men, made for our skin, and backed by science, and it actually works.
My eye bags before, this was me, and this is me today.
Dark spots used to be brutal. Now, they're barely there.
My wrinkles were deep. Look at the difference.
I honestly didn't think a cream could do this, and it literally takes 2 minutes a day.
1 minute in the morning.
And 1 minute at night.
Super easy.
Super effective.
And compared to everything else I considered, it's actually inexpensive.
It's everything I need
in one bottle.
If you've had enough of those
eye bags,
dark spots, wrinkles, there's only one product you need.
Visit ParticleMen.com and use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off, free shipping, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. ParticleMen.com.
Your data is like a single domino. The moment it's stolen, it starts a chain reaction that puts the information that guards your assets at risk. 1 in 3 Americans have been a victim of identity theft. Are you willing to risk it?
When I saw zeros on that screen as my bank account balance, I went to immediate panic.
$21,000 just gone.
I opened my account and $30,000 is missing. Like $30,000. I have no idea what to do.
If your personal information is stolen, are you prepared to pick up the pieces alone? LifeLock is the leader in identity theft protection and restoration.
Once LifeLock got involved, everything changed.
With LifeLock, if your identity is stolen, they'll step in and fix it so you don't have to, guaranteed. Our highly trained US-based restoration specialists contact institutions, dispute fraudulent charges, close compromised accounts, and even procure legal support far beyond the capabilities of your bank or credit card company.
LifeLock pursued this case further than I ever would have imagined.
If you call right now, you'll get LifeLock for just $9.99 a month for your first year. And as extra protection, all LifeLock memberships include the $1 Million Protection Package. Our members receive reimbursement for stolen funds and personal expenses, like lost wages, as well as coverage for lawyers and experts up to $3 million in total.
When the bank refused to reimburse my stolen money, the $1 Million Protection Package came through for me.
Our restoration guarantee and $1 Million Protection Package are included in all memberships with no additional fees.
I think it's natural to think that you can do this on your own. You can't. You need an expert in your corner.
Call 800-710-4587 and use promo code TV35 or go to lifelock.com/TV35 to join today.
I'm Fox Weather's Stephen Morgan, and today we're talking about eclipses. There are 2 main types, solar and lunar. Similar but different, 2 sides of the same coin, and it's all about the alignment of the Earth, Sun, and Moon. Lunar eclipses occur when the Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, casting a shadow on the lunar surface. The Moon appears to get darker with a reddish glow, which is why they're typically called blood moons. Solar eclipses occur because the Moon passes between the Sun and Earth, casting a shadow on the Earth's surface. In the path of totality, the Moon will block out the Sun's light, and at the surface, the temperature might even drop. These don't last long, only a few minutes, and only where the moon is casting its shadow. Now, a lunar eclipse can last for hours and be seen anywhere as long as the moon is over the horizon. Now go out, if you can, and look up. There's so much to see. Know your Fox weather.
Welcome back to Fox Weather First. I'm Britta Merwin. We have Craig Herrera here this morning, getting your Tuesday off to a good start. But we do have some serious weather to talk about if you live across the Central Plains. Rounds of thunderstorms are in the forecast, which could turn severe. We're talking about the potential for some big, impactful weather. The severe storms, the flood threat, it's going to linger into this upcoming weekend, and that will produce damaging winds, large hail, and even, yes, tornadoes are possible. So let's take a look at the severe setup for today. Today's kind of the kickoff to this busy stretch. We're going to have a couple rounds. This afternoon, we'll look out for parts of Oklahoma, but then later tonight, well past sunset, we're looking at a second ignition across parts of Kansas and Missouri. Now, this is a level 1, so not everyone is going to see severe weather, but there's energy there. You can see that laced in that darker yellow color, kind of waiting and holding in place until the afternoon with daytime heating. There's the action, Craig. We have showers that are popping up in the afternoon across Oklahoma for round number 1.
Right where you've got plenty of energy to work with. You mentioned round number 1. Now we go into the overnight hours, 2 o'clock in the morning, and now we're talking about round number 2. Some of these starting to pop up over portions of, say, Kansas, and you extend over into Oklahoma. Look at Missouri. Same story for you. The energy is still there, and we're talking now about the commute. This is going to be for 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning. This is going to be a concern here for not only the hail that we're dealing with today, but also the strong winds, perhaps even a little bit of rotation there.
Yeah, and then by Wednesday afternoon, you guessed it, we'll have another round of severe storms. So it's going to be a very active stretch here. On Wednesday, we do have a little more twist and upper level support. That means that we probably have a higher potential of isolated tornadoes on Wednesday than today. Doesn't mean that we can't see it, but certainly have more ingredients at play. And this all is going to come to a head on Friday. Guys, we've had a big upgrade for Friday. It's a level 3. I believe it's the second level 3 outlook that we've had for the year so far. And we have this stretch that goes right up the 35 corridor, central Oklahoma, Kansas, and then pushes to the east in Missouri, where we could see some really dangerous storms form on Friday.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the flood impact, it goes hand in hand.
Right? Lots of rain.
You're talking about the same zones, right?
Yeah.
That these thunderstorms are training over and producing the heavy rain.
Yeah, and some spots will easily get 5 to 8 inches of fresh rain by the time we get into next Tuesday. Well, starting today, the Storm Prediction Center is announcing a new metric that's going to help folks better prepare, especially when we're talking about some destructive storms in the forecast. It's called conditional intensity. It's meant to supplement the current forecast that you see on Fox Weather.
The Storm Prediction Center spoke about the need for these changes over this past weekend. Take a listen.
The black hatching. For those that don't know, this is how we communicate the storm intensity, whether that means extreme straight-line winds, destructive hail, or catastrophic tornadoes.
Here's the problem. Under the old system, we only used hatching when the expected coverage of significant severe weather was high enough. You will see 3 new intensity levels. Level 1 means significant severe weather is possible. Level 2 signals a dangerous environment like intense tornadoes or extremely large hail. Level 3 is rare. It's reserved for historic outbreak level intensity, such as violent tornadoes or intense derechos.
So what do the changes actually look like, and how is this all going to work? We're going to take you step by step here to prepare you for what is really going to be our biggest tool, not only in the days ahead, but really the weeks ahead. So threat levels, they're not changing. That's not going to be changing at all.
This is what you're used to seeing.
Exactly. And that will stay strong. So we're looking at level 1 through 5 for the outlook for severe weather for the day. What is going to be changing are the specifics of the intensity of type of weather that can happen within this severe weather zone. So let's take the impact of tornadoes. This is what you used to see in the forecast. A huge area where we could see EF2 or stronger. This is going to get a lot more specific and honed down.
And when you think about that, before it was EF2 or greater. So that didn't even compare EF2, EF3, EF4, and EF5. So now you have a better indication of where we could see the strongest storms, whether that's EF2, EF3, or EF4, or even EF5. This is a little more honed in, which is great because it gives such a broad area a more, I guess, specified area to watch for those intense storms.
Yes, and identifying where the most destructive tornadoes could occur. Let's move on to straight line winds, which is a huge component of severe weather. Not only are we honing in on the wind speed, this is what you used to see, but now we have 3 levels where we're really going to talk about the intensity of those strong straight line winds, but the type of straight line winds. Are we talking about bow echoes, derechos? These are really impactful weather setups that can lead to an immense amount of destruction. So having that detailed information per location is key in really communicating the risk level for you and your community. Let's talk about hail. This is what it used to look like. Again, pretty generic,
2
right?
2 inches or greater.
Now we're honing down.
Yeah, now we're seeing where that 2 inches or greater can be, because you notice that's still the big purple area, but now you're talking about specifically in this graphic, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. So you get a better idea of where you expect to see the larger hailstones. Not that you're not going to see it in the rest of that level, that purple level, but that hatched area is where you're likely going to see the largest, or the biggest threat for the largest stones there.
Yeah, this is just another great push by, the National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, and now the Storm Prediction Center. There's been this push to really make it a lot more communicative.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's get to the east and what we are calling Fool's Spring. That's not very nice, but it's true.
I'm happy to be fooled.
It's true. Temperatures across many states are edging into the 60s, 70s. How about even the 80s for some spots next week? But the bad news is, as you know, it may not stick around the entire month. Everybody's asking me when I go to the gym, they're like, hey, this is it, right? No more cold weather. I'm like, dude, it's March. You don't know. It could change just like that. This is what we do in March with the temperature swings. We do have an area of high pressure pumping in the heat, pumping in the moisture, fueling the severe storms, fueling the flood threat, but also fueling those record highs. We are talking about more than 90 record highs possible, extending all the way over the eastern, really 2/3 of the lower 48, where temperatures will easily be 20 degrees above average. How about Thursday? Look at all of the 80s on the map for the southern tier, even all the way to Raleigh. You're at 78, Richmond 77, Nashville at 78. We don't stop there. You just pump it up a little farther north. People in Chicago, guaranteed you're going to be out by the lake there, lakeside for sure.
Oh,
67.
absolutely. By the way, this is why we're going to have the severe weather.
Exactly.
It's a huge ingredient. So all of our weather stories are very much connected. But you know what? For folks ahead of that severe weather potential, this is going to be a really warm day. For folks down south, you've had a lot of heat, so this is just going to be a continuation. We're looking at afternoon highs in the 80s, but it is record-breaking, and it's not normal. This is not the type of heat that we even experience across the south.
May tie a record from 1956.
Yeah, you're expecting temperatures in the 60s and 70s. We're talking mid to upper 80s.
Yeah, no kidding. How about Saturday? We've got plenty of warm weather for you still in the mix, especially across the south and southeast. Up and through New York, you're still at 50. That's gorgeous, and you're still well above average. So you're not quite at the extreme level as you are across the south, but we're still going to see some very warm temperatures. We could see some records Saturday, especially across the south and southeast. In this case, Atlanta's record goes back to 1974. Birmingham back to the 1950s as well. So enjoy this nice bit of spring, because you never know when it's going to drop.
Absolutely. And now that we are in meteorological spring, big changes are on the way. Of course, spring means more daylight. We're going to have temperatures that will be climbing. But as we mentioned, it does mean, yes, severe weather season is here. And we're already seeing this take place this week. We have Arctic air that is going to be matched up with warm Gulf air. And that sets a dramatic stage for dramatic weather. And we see this every spring, and of course we see it in the fall as well. Now, meteorological spring, if you're wondering, well, what does that mean? It's still cold outside. When it comes to weather records, you have to have a defined time frame to hold those records in. Astronomical spring, it changes because it's off of the sun angle. So you might have a couple extra days thrown in or subtracted year to year. But meteorological spring, starting on March 1st and ending on May 31st, it's the same defined time frame. So it gives us that ability, Craig, to really capture, okay, was this a warm spring, a cold spring? Did we have a lot of severe weather? It it gives us a vantage point.
Those
but
3
I
months are very similar, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think what people really notice, especially in March, is the increased daylight,
Yes,
especially if you live up to the north.
Yes. You're gaining about 100 minutes of sunlight.
We both
especially
have
across
lived in the red zone.
We have, yeah. I talk, it's summertime, you wait for this.
life-changing.
Because when you go through the winter, it's dark a little bit faster and you don't have as much daylight. So yeah, you're getting more daylight. The days are still the same. You still have 24 hours in a day.
But
it's just how much sunshine do you have? Yeah, I mean, look at the southern tier. Even you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's less noticeable. If you live in, Del Rio, Texas, you're not going to, be stacking on a couple hours, but you do have an extra 30, 45 minutes of daylight.
Yeah.
Looking at the forecast, it looks like we're going to be warm and dry in the southwest. That's a huge flag for our spring forecast.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have snow or rain in the winter. Now we're looking at a dry spring. We're setting up for a massive wildfire concern for folks that live to the west. It's kind of a tough one to see that in the forecast. Meanwhile, above average precipitation is expected for the Great Lakes. We do have a setup here where, of course, we're going to see severe weather. This is historically where we look for severe weather across the Central Plains, moving into the southeast. That's what we see in March. And then as we go into April and May, it expands and it gets worse. I mean, May is our peak month for tornadoes in our country.
Yeah, you're talking about most spots east of the Continental Divide, clear over to almost the eastern seaboard and north to south for most of a good chunk of the country. You talk about this, and we also talk about these storms through May. A lot of these, by the way, do become nocturnal, too. We see the numbers go up this month and more so into April and May as for nocturnal storms.
And we want to thank you for staying with us here on Fox Weather First. We want to make sure you download that free Fox Weather app, too.
Yeah, because when you do, you turn on the notifications, you get the alerts for the weather no matter where you are. We're with you for all seasons, for all America. And guess what? We have more Fox Weather right up after this break.
Back pain. When you've got it, you know it. Introducing the X-Back from CopperFit, our groundbreaking technology designed for compression support of your lower back and core like you've never experienced before. Engineered with our most innovative, patent-pending, Advanced X compression system, the X-Back evenly distributes the support across a broader surface area of your back for relief of lower back aches and pains.
The new belt is fantastic. I feel a bigger area of support. Immediately, there was something different about this.
A super lightweight mesh fabric, ventilated for unmatched breathability to increase airflow and release excess heat.
You have to try it. You haven't felt anything that's going to give you the kind of support and relieve the back pain that you have, because it is unbelievable.
Our copper-infused fabric, made with the most advanced materials for superior support and lighter than air comfort.
It's just relaxing all that tension that you get.
Wow, oh, that feels great.
I've tried a lot of belts in the past. Nothing like this.
I have a history of back issues, man, and this is really hard to believe what I'm feeling right now.
An orthopedic-designed alloy support panel and 4 built-in flexible stabilizers to help improve alignment and promote better posture.
Usually when I have long triathlons, there's pain. With the belt, there's absolutely no pain. For me, it was like, okay, is this really happening? I really haven't felt anything like this before.
The all-new X-Back from CopperFit, the most effective, breathable, customizable support for relief of lower back pain you will ever wear. Guaranteed or your money back. Get yours now at getxback.com for only 2 payments of $29.99 or call 1-800-520-4518. Order right now and your shipping is free.
This is by far the best support that I have found.
You feel like, you conquered the world, and it's life-changing.
The all-new X-Back from CopperFit. Feel the difference.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner. Always. A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners. If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it.
What are you doing tonight? If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravite. Visit trygravite.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
TryGravity.com.
Hello and welcome to a brand new hour here on Fox Weather. You're watching Weather Command. I'm Stephen Morgan.
And I'm Haley Meyer. Thanks for joining us. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd.
I'm going to say it one time this whole show, but I'm going to say it. Marching on, right? It's a month known for extremes, and this week, extreme warmth seems to be on the docket.
Yeah, I mean, with these warmer temperatures also comes an increased threat for severe weather. So March really wasting no time getting straight to business.
Yeah, get ready for it because we're about to kick off several days of possible severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center, we are talking to them later today as well. They've got these outlooks. Let's go to them. Severe weather outlooks issued by the SPC. Each day is going to present differently, but that threat, it's going to be growing right through the work week. We'll work on getting that graphic, but essentially today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Last I checked, that is 4. Yeah.
4, but there's even a chance for some thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe not outlined by the SPC, but yet to be outlined.
And they're talking about next Tuesday.
That's a big day, potentially.
As well, yeah. So we're going to watch it. Friday has really the greatest threat of perhaps being the most significant. But let's talk about today. Let's focus on what we could expect, at least what we might be dealing with, because we do have, while a lower threat, a threat. It includes parts of North Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, as well as Illinois. And that's where we'll be watching it. It's Max 3 if you guys need some help grabbing those graphics. Thank you. The expansion has actually occurred. We did see very minor tweaks. We'll have to update some of these maps. St. Louis is now included in that level 1 risk, including also, it seems as if the Storm Prediction Center decided to nudge this thing a little farther south to include the entire I-44 corridor. Overnight, it wasn't included. This morning, it is. Also included Tulsa as well as Oklahoma. So there are several big cities now suddenly under this risk. And I think it's something worth paying attention to because these are intentional outlooks that are posted by the Storm Prediction Center. And it's an indication of what we could see later on today. Now, starting this morning, we're super early. We still got a long time to warm things up. We've got the hail potential. And this is just a parameter right now. Currently, what is our atmosphere feature? And I mention this because this is the only parameter that the SPC has mentioned, hey, could be significant later this afternoon.
Yeah, these thunderstorms are expected to be more high-based, which means that the cloud deck is higher up into the atmosphere, and typically that would lend a hand to more of a significant hail threat. Yeah. We'll also be watching for some damaging winds, but really today's threat, I put that in quotations because it's likely overnight, more so into early Wednesday morning, so it's kind of a bridging of a day. So today you may think, okay, it's bright blue sunny skies, but we always say and caution people to believe that because sunny skies in the morning equals volatile weather in the afternoon when you have a setup like this.
The overall pattern, too, things looking pretty mundane this morning. We've had some early morning storms that rolled through St. Louis. They're pushing into Indiana. Wanted to set the stage. What we have here is a boundary. It's a boundary at the surface. What we're watching is this piece of energy, very obvious right now, diving in from the northern Rockies. It's close to the Utah-Colorado border. This shortwave, this piece of energy is going to open the door for possible storms. To your point, well after sunset tonight, the storms that we've been watching this morning, they are moving off to the east. In fact, looking at them, we've not had severe warnings unless I missed one throughout the morning. I don't think we had a single one this morning, right? All been sort of heavy rain. There is plenty of lightning, thunder to go with it, but overall, they're beginning to weaken. So later this afternoon, let's watch. I think we have to wait until that energy really starts to build. Yeah. And even then, it's a big question, how much energy do we see?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now it's showing moderate instability, leaning a little more towards the lesser in that category. But storms will develop. Look at this. This is Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so it's right over Joplin, Missouri. So the southwestern corridor of Missouri, right through the area that they expanded into for that level 1 is kind of where they're highlighting for tomorrow morning's commute. But don't be fooled by the early morning convection because the atmosphere will rebound quickly each and every day with an area of high pressure off of the Atlantic coast, and that's acting as refuel. It's going to continue to charge this area.
I'd almost couple Wednesday with today, and then I would couple Thursday and Friday together, because we almost reload and we see more energy. And the Thursday-Friday time frame, you already see too that Friday event looking like it could be a day to pay attention to. It's a level 3 out of 5 threat, and they've already highlighted some of the bigger cities that very well could be at risk of seeing the storms. We'll dive deeper into this, but overall, that corridor, that I-35 corridor between Ardmore, Oklahoma, up to St. Joe, Missouri, needs to be watched. That's just Friday. Friday.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to talk about the other days.
Well, and Stephen, it's a lot of the same cities that are under a threat for severe weather, but also for very heavy rain over the next couple of weeks. And while, yes, this rain is beneficial, it also comes at a cost for the potential for some flash flood concerns. We're looking at just this relentless parade of storm energy that could deliver multiple rounds of rain that'll happen over the course of this week. Heavy rain expected from the Gulf Coast states northward, even into the Great Lakes. Today's flash flood threat, fairly low end across the Ohio River Valley, but we could see anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rain just in that day alone, just today alone. Then if you look at the broader scale, the bigger picture here, some spots could get close to double-digit rainfall totals by the second week of March. Now, the most influential flood zone that we'll be watching closely is through the Ozarks, so portions of Missouri and into Arkansas. That's where the highest signal is right now. But it's this pattern. It's not one storm that we're tracking today. It's repetitive storm energy that's going to create this day after day threat, if not for severe weather, for intense, heavy rain. Now, I mentioned that area of high pressure recharging the atmosphere. What it's doing is it's pulling in a lot of this moist and warm air coming out of the Gulf of America. And recently, we've actually had quite a bit of heat for the southern plains and the southeast, so that's cooking up the Gulf as well. And so that water is warm, aiding in extra moisture that gets pumped in. So anywhere where we've got these deeper blues, that's showing intense moisture coupled with this dry line feature. Dry lines are pretty common to produce supercells that can develop, and sometimes they can be prolific hail makers, but also prolific tornado makers. And so there is a chance for some tornadoes later down the line this week, and that's a look at Friday's threat for you. We'll be watching that dry line as it wobbles across the central southern plains.
It's beginning to emerge, isn't it? That semi-permanent feature that we see in West Texas, and it does have big implications. I think what's significant about this overall pattern, a stubborn boundary. You get a boundary that sets up. This is a spring signal right through the plains, and that boundary will have moisture go north, south of it, but you do have to pay attention to where that's at. That's where we'll have the heaviest access of moisture. And I think, speaking to what we could see over the next several days, it bears watching, especially as we head even into the overnight tonight. Maybe indications that we see some storms begin to develop and sort of hang out in northeastern Oklahoma, parts of Arkansas. That's going to add to these totals, but still looking impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a couple of stripes of this darker, I call it a pumpkin orange, with 5 to 8 inches worth of rain. And because we're looking all the way through March 10th, so a good week in advance, we say painting with a broad brush. We're not getting onto the micro scale factors here. So some spots likely getting over 8 inches, but if you look at it as a whole, it's a stripe of maybe a couple hundred miles that could see 5 to as much as 8 inches. Now, the positive side to this forecast, there are some of these areas that are desperate for some moisture. And honestly, the spots that are expected to take on the most have the worst drought. So they are under the exceptional category. Arkansas, the entire state, under at least some kind of drought category. So they're in a bad place after a very dry winter. But honestly, Stephen, this one event, they could make up their entire drought in some spots. This could be a drought buster, but the problem is too much at one single time. Then you have the runoff and flash flood concerns.
It would be a problem. And I think Arkansas is one of those states that we're going to have to pay attention to and watch. I mean, for the winter, because these were the numbers we were looking at yesterday, the winter hasn't been too kind. I mean, we've seen some snow. In fact, when you look at the snow surplus, we are at a bit of a surplus. But when you look at it in totality, when you consider rain as well, we need it. And we're going to get it. I think we get it beginning as early as later tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. So Dallas, be prepared. St. Louis, another zone where rain's in the forecast heading into the weekend. Warmer temperatures also help aid in that threat for very heavy thunderstorms.
Yeah, talk about warm. 80 on Friday. It still stands.
I love that.
Even 24 hours later, confidence is growing that we have an 80-degree day in the STL. We do long and maybe dream for those temperatures elsewhere. Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, New England. I'm looking at you. We do have showers and even some ice moving through this morning. Taking a look outside. We're going outside to New York City. New York City's camera? No. West Reading, Pennsylvania. Close enough. Pennsylvania this morning actually dealing with a weather that's similar to what we have here in New York City, waiting on that rain to move in. 33 degrees. I think we do need to watch, pay attention to the overall pattern here and the temperature. That's going to make a big change as far as what we see, whether it be snow, ice, or maybe just some rain. And we hope for rain. We will hope the best. But temperatures still going to be cold enough to maybe support some frozen or wintry precip. Lingering cold air is going to set that stage for a bit of a wintry mess throughout the afternoon. Is it short-lived? I guess it depends on how you look at it. It's going to be around much of the day, and it could even linger into Wednesday. So an unsettled stretch of weather that kind of continues as we head toward the middle part of the week. But look at the temperatures. I mean, Hazard, Kentucky, 54 degrees, but Philadelphia dealing with a little bit of ice, maybe some sleet pellets mixed in, 35 degrees. D.C. this morning, 34. We're dealing with rain. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. That's a cold rain.
Yeah,
I know all rain is by nature cold, unless you get under one of those tropical downpours in the middle of the summer down south. But this is that type of rain that's almost like, I wish it was just snow. If it's going to fall, let it be snow.
See, I would agree with you if we didn't have so much snow over the Northeast. Now I would honestly take a cold rain over snow at this point. But for the New York City area, is it possible we see a flashing flake? Sure.
Possibly.
But the higher likelihood is that this is going to be a rain event for the I-95 corridor. You have to head further to the interior of New England in order to get any kind of snowflakes. The higher likelihood for accumulating snow in any kind of plowable way would be for ski country.
Yeah.
And that's the one spot in the country that I don't think is ever going to complain about some snow. But the good news is whether it's snow or ice, the finisher of this event is rain.
It's going to be rain.
And so likely that will kind of set the ground back to stage 0.
A place like Boston, we're going to see those temperatures warm throughout the day. By this afternoon, we'll see that rain transition occur, but we could even have some pockets of dry time, and this will be closer to that evening rush between New York City down to Richmond, Virginia. But you have to wait. As I had mentioned, while it might feel like it's a quick shot because it's just today, some of this could linger into the morning tomorrow. We'll see how things play out, but by about 7, 8 o'clock, maybe another batch of moisture tries to move into parts of eastern PA, Philadelphia, including Jersey, New York City, as that boundary hangs out. But it's that boundary that's going to be responsible for lifting north and eventually really offering us some nice weather. We just got to get through today and tomorrow.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Just hold on because the warmer temperatures are coming. Winter, it's lingering a little bit across the Northeast, but an early taste of spring is on the horizon. After a brutal winter with record colds and even historic snow events, a good chunk of the East could see their first 60s, 70s, and perhaps 80s of the year. We'll have the forecast when Weather Command comes right back.
Yonder past the caution light, there's a little country store with an old Coke sign. You gotta stop in and ask Miss Bell for some of her sweet tea. Then a left will take you to the interstate.
By the way, Marissa, this week it's a Fox Weather Beach House. I can't wait. We gotta get there.
Go.
Go.
Is your shower trying to tell you something? Is getting in and out of the bathtub becoming a safety concern? Are you worried about the cost of a bathroom remodel that could go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bath or shower with a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel that's safer at a price you can afford. We're waiving all installation costs and postponing all payments for up to 1 year.
Oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Oh.
From soft closed shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats that combine safety and style, it's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your one-day installation, and start loving your new bath or shower right away.
Call or go online right now. We are waiving all installation costs and offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-384-4402. Call now.
You know, there is something different about you today. Is it your makeup?
Not quite.
Did you do something to your hair?
It's not my hair.
Did you start a new job?
I did start a new job, but it's not that.
Became a father?
I've always been one.
Money problems?
Who doesn't have them?
What is it then? You have to tell me.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's my skin.
I've actually been using a new face cream.
Oh, really?
I really am. It fights my eye bags, dark spots, and wrinkles.
Which face cream?
I use Particle's 6-in-1 anti-aging face cream for men, and I've never looked better. Visit particlemen.com and use the coupon on your screen to get 25% off your order. Plus, free shipping and a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Something illegal?
Nah, I'm good, fam. Go to particlemen.com.
I need to sell my house. Now, there are a lot of places that claim to know how much it's worth, but they don't really know my house or my neighborhood. And they definitely don't show me all my options. That's where HomeLight comes in. I just answer a few questions and HomeLight gives me a side-by-side comparison of my options, personalized for my needs. And they'll show me what verified buyers will pay for my house right now. It's easy, and it's free. No matter how you choose to sell your home, selling starts at HomeLight. Get started today at homelight.com.
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
I am an annuity, but I need cash now.
Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
Back on Weather Command, the parade of storms creating the risk for severe weather. Also going to be delivering a lot of rain. We'll be talking about the heavy rain potential, but let's kick off talking severe weather. We have it later this afternoon. Could be significant, in fact, when we look from Oklahoma City to Joplin up into St. Louis. I say significant because as far as severe weather, we've only had a few of those days, but the overall pattern really telling us that spring is trying to move in. And I think in a way this week, it's going to win out. Pay attention to the pattern. This pattern is going to be locked in for the next several days with waves of energy moving on through. If you live in the Midwest, if you live in the South, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, this is the time of year that we deal with it, and that's the case. We'll watch each day because it could very well present differently depending these 4 days that we have of possibly severe weather. Even beyond that, going to be an interesting pattern to follow. We watch as that energy materializes, but we might not get anything until late tonight, early tomorrow morning as storms might erupt. Large hail seems to be the main threat, could have a few damaging wind gusts. Then we head into tomorrow, that cold front trying to sharpen just a little bit. So looking at that level 2 risk that we have, which includes the Metroplex, Dallas and Fort Worth, farther north into northwestern Arkansas. Beyond Wednesday, the pattern does continue to remain conducive for severe weather. So we'll be paying attention to it each day. We also have warmth. And I think when we look at the overall parameters and these near record warm temperatures, Haley, that's going to create the storm energy. But when you have a spring pattern like this, it's stubborn, and that means heavy rain's also going to be a big threat.
Absolutely. Warmer air holds more moisture.
Yep.
And so that means we are looking at a flash flood threat materializing each and every day. That's coinciding with the threat for severe storms. Things start off today, level 1 out of 4 for the Ohio Valley. We're looking at anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rain as a possibility. A lot of these areas still somewhat drought stricken, which is why the threat for flash flooding is significantly lower today. Going into tomorrow, Wednesday, also a level 1 out of 4, but following the pattern of this jet stream and a lot of that moisture getting pumped in from the Gulf, courtesy of that area of high pressure. Notice, though, as we get closer to the weekend, now we're talking Friday, the overlap. So now Dallas, you're under the threat for flash flooding multiple days in a row. That extends into portions of Oklahoma, like Tulsa, like Oklahoma City, just barely in the crosshairs. Then we finish up on Saturday, another level 1 out of 4. Now, I will say the WPC, they're already saying discussions of a slight risk, which is an upgrade in the potential for flash flooding, is expected. The dry soil in these spots of the country, Arkansas, Texas, to name a few, both beneficial in the fact that the soil can obtain a little more moisture, especially when we could be talking double-digit moisture levels. But the negative side to that is also dry soil can create quick runoff concerns. So with spring weather already at play and in full force right now, let's bring in Fox Weather meteorologist Britta Merwin. Now, Britta, with this flood threat amping up for a swath of the country this week, it's a prime time to refamiliarize ourselves with flood safety. I feel like we always have to jog our memory. Everybody's been locked into winter weather mode, or at least here in the Northeast. it's time to think about severe weather now.
And hopefully people are doing the same for tornado risk. I mean, really, folks, we have some hefty weather on the way for the next several days. So have that family meeting, talk about your safe spots. Let's focus on flood safety because, of course, we're going to see a lot of rain with these severe storms. Two different types of flooding. Flash flooding, which is what those outlooks Haley just gave the details on, that's what it's really focusing on. That quick rise because you get too much rain in a short amount of time. But when we have that happen day after day and we have snow melt that's happening across the northern states, everything eventually falls into our river system. And so after you do have a significant amount of flash flooding or multiple days of low-level flash flooding, you can lead to river flooding. Has a little more time in terms of your time that you have to react, but certainly something that you want to keep in mind. And the most important thing is to know when you have a watch and when you have a warning. A flood watch means conditions are prime. It's not happening in the moment, but there's a high potential for it. And you want to make sure that you're very vigilant and you're watching your surroundings, especially if you live by a river or if you happen to be by one. Meanwhile, when you get the flash flood warning, that's when you react. And the most important thing to do is stay off the roads. Almost 90% of the time when we have fatalities during flood events, it's because of people in cars. Of course, it can happen other ways, but automatically, if you are making that choice to stay off the roads and stay home, you're already putting yourself statistically in a safer position. Now, as we take a look at those flood safety tips, it's all about reaching higher ground, but also knowing some safe evacuation routes. Let's say you live next to a creek or a river. You can't just count on one way to get off of your property because that way might be covered in floodwater and you're going to have to find another route. So knowing where you live and knowing your risk is extremely important for putting yourself into a safe situation. As we go back to the flood warning conversation, I do want to let you know that there's details in these flood warnings that are extremely important. If you're a Fox Weather family member, you've heard us talk about it multiple times when we give you the flash flood warnings. But when we look at a baseline warning, that is the lowest level of a flood warning. Very important to listen to. You want to make sure that you're staying off the roads. But if we start saying considerable, that means that there's urgent action that needs to happen. Most likely we're talking about water that could be getting closer to getting into homes. Catastrophic, which is rare, that is what we call a flash flood emergency. If you hear those three words, red flags should be rising. You should really pay attention because that means threat to life and threat to property, and we're actively seeing those conditions unfold. So there's your 101 on flood safety. Again, Haley, Stephen, I think it's really important for folks to do the same thing with tornado safety. We really have a long stretch of intense weather coming our way, not only this week, but honestly, it's just the beginning of our spring severe weather season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you blink and severe weather season's here and it's in full force. And this week, we're likely going to be experiencing the chance for tornadoes, flash flood. It's all coming at us for the southern plains. Britta, thanks. And for many, it's a noticeable warm-up that's on the way for millions from the Deep South all the way to the I-95 corridor. Folks in the Deep South, maybe you're groaning at me saying a warm-up. In the Northeast, though, I'm sure there's going to be lots of cheers and applause to the thought of temperatures getting warmer because we've been stuck in this cold pattern, one of the coldest winters we've experienced in the last few decades. The cause behind this warming trend is the jet stream escaping to the north, so it's retreating, which means this high pressure that's semi-permanent sitting off of the Atlantic coast is moving the winds out of the south and ushering in warmer air, a little extra humidity. So I know my friends over in Houston, it's very humid there pretty much at all months of the year, but the humidity is going to uptick over the next couple of days. And this heat is not just hot, but it is record-breaking heat potentially. We could look at over 100 daily record highs that could fall. That's up from the numbers from what we were expecting yesterday. Yesterday we were calling for 90. Now it's 100. So that small trend just indicates to me that the forecast is becoming more solidified, that it is a warmer one getting closer to the weekend. Some of the temperatures here, I mean, 84 in Houston, that's really not bad for Texas standards, I'll be honest. 77 in Nashville, that's going to feel fantastic. Yeah. Where the biggest change, I think, is, and maybe folks are going to wake up and think, thankfully, this is like this, going to be in the mid-Atlantic. I mean, Richmond, 75, Raleigh, 78, D.C. getting into the 70s by the time we finish out the weekend. That's the zone where I think this forecast is hitting home.
Yeah, and when you look at the 70s just making a comeback, I mean, in some of the spots, I've already highlighted how St. Louis by Friday could have 80s. Look at Chicago, we're talking upper 60s, maybe getting into the low 70s for Cincinnati, which crazy because yesterday Cincinnati had snow. Cincinnati had a little bit of freezing rain. Columbus had it too. But this is, I think, how we set the stage for March, or we set the expectation. The extreme swings are a given. If we don't have them in March, it's a little weird.
It's weird, yeah.
It's off.
Yeah, March is the month of change.
Yeah.
Things are just flip-flopping back and forth. If you live in New York City or a smaller apartment, it's the month to not switch over your closet because it's such a painstaking process, and you may need those winter coats at some point, and then you need to switch it for flip-flops. So that's really what March brings. And at this point, especially with that polar vortex, we're seeing a disruption in it right now. But the lobe of that polar vortex being locked into Canada, and so sucking that jet stream north and allowing temperatures to heat up in a big way. We were analyzing this yesterday, though, with meteorologist Matthew Blue over there in the corner. And New York City is in a weird position. 50 degrees on Saturday. Yeah. But there's this cold front that's kind of lingering across the Northeast. And so depending upon where that decides to set up going into the weekend, I've seen a range anywhere from 50 degrees for Saturday in New York City all the way up to maybe 70 degrees in New York City. Sunday, though, it seems like the Big Apple will be locked into this warmer pattern.
Those boundaries
just a small area.
Really make a difference where you find that boundary set up. And if it's farther to the south, that ridge of high pressure also pumping in some of the moisture, we'll have some increased rain chances too near or close to that boundary. We get some energy, but I think overall the expectation needs to be set. While February ended on a pretty cold note for a lot of us, we're beginning to warm. And I think we're going to see those warmer temperatures, which is some good news, I mean, if you ask me. With the warmth, though, does come storms, right? And the risk for severe weather is ramping up beginning today. But Wednesday could also feature a severe risk. We've got states of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas dealing with maybe Mother Nature's worst. We'll see large hail, damaging winds, maybe even an isolated tornado can't be ruled out. We're highlighting those threats beginning really today and lasting for the rest of the work week. Weather Command will be right back.
This is a Fox weather alert. It is just brutally cold with negative daylight temperatures.
Hey, little buddy. What's up with him?
Cheer up, big guy.
He's such a diva.
Your data is like a single domino. The moment it's stolen, it starts a chain reaction that puts the information that guards your assets at risk. 1 in 3 Americans have been a victim of identity theft. Are you willing to risk it?
When I saw zeros on that screen as my bank account balance, I went to immediate panic.
$21,000 just gone.
I opened my account and $30,000 is missing. Like $30,000. I have no idea what to do.
If your personal information is stolen, are you prepared to pick up the pieces alone? LifeLock is the leader in identity theft protection and restoration.
Once LifeLock got involved, everything changed.
With LifeLock, if your identity is stolen, they'll step in and fix it so you don't have to, guaranteed. Our highly trained US-based restoration specialists contact institutions, dispute fraudulent charges, close compromised accounts, and even procure legal support far beyond the capabilities of your bank or credit card company.
LifeLock pursued this case further than I ever would have imagined.
If you call right now, you'll get LifeLock for just $9.99 a month for your first year. And as extra protection, all LifeLock memberships include the $1 Million Protection Package. Our members receive reimbursement for stolen funds and personal expenses, like lost wages, as well as coverage for lawyers and experts up to $3 million in total.
When the bank refused to reimburse my stolen money, the $1 Million Protection Package came through for me.
Our restoration guarantee and $1 Million Protection Package are included in all memberships with no additional fees.
I think it's natural to think that you can do this on your own. You can't. You need an expert in your corner.
Call 800-710-4587 and use promo code TV35 or go to lifelock.com/TV35 to join today.
We asked women one simple question. What makes a man a gentleman?
A gentleman always pays for dinner, always.
A gentleman looks like they put in some effort. They can't have just rolled out of bed.
A gentleman always holds open the door. It's just good manners. If he's really a gentleman, he'll go at my pace.
These days, being a gentleman can be challenging, but smelling like one, that's easy.
Wow. Ugh, that's what a gentleman smells like, okay? Yep, that's it.
What are you doing tonight? If he smells this good, he's got my attention.
Gravite. Visit trygravite.com. Use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off.
Can I keep this guy?
Trygravite.com.
It's the bottom of the hour. We're back here on Weather Command, and already storms rumbling this morning. None severe, but ushering in this different air mass that we're unfamiliar with in the plains.
Yeah, I mean, the plains getting open for business for severe weather season, and typically early severe season kicks off a little further to the southeast. We're talking Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. But right now, it's the central southern plains.
Today, it kicks off 4 days, consecutive days of severe weather. These outlooks issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and each day is going to present differently, but the threat is going to grow as we work through the week. By Friday, the SPC has already issued an enhanced or a level 3 out of 5 risk. We're going to have more on that threat in a bit because that could be a significant day that we have out of the week, but let's not discount the others. We talk about today and what to expect. It does kick off what's going to be a familiar pattern, a very spring-like look to the overall environment with this level 1 threat, and we'll wait for some storms to develop. But to be honest, we might be waiting all day. This is the zone. It includes the I-44 corridor, a stretch of the I-70 corridor too, I-35 in Kansas and Oklahoma. And we look right now, not much to show. Have some clouds to the north. There is a boundary that we have draped through the plains, and that boundary is almost acting as the train tracks of how these storms will be ultimately moving. But we need some additional energy to move in. Until then, here's the moisture that we have. And I think that we might be dealing with some bright banding here, indicating that there might be some ice in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and radar's mistaking that for heavy rain. But nonetheless, it's raining. I think East Central Illinois, Western Indiana, that's just what's on the docket. But not for long, just a few hours, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've got enough instability to produce some of those lightning strikes, and the movement of these storms is pretty much from the west to the east, not much of an angle here. So anywhere across the Ohio River Valley, just based on the orientation of that jet stream, where this energy is kind of riding along, that's the zone. And today, the threat of maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain is certainly possible. Some lower lying threats for some flash flooding.
And then we look at where that center stage might be taken. And as those storms depart to the east, it's going to be Oklahoma, Texas, and Missouri. Later this afternoon, this evening, things are going to warm up. We have to wait, though, as I mentioned, some energy in the Rockies to move into the plains, and that's going to get the ball rolling. I will say, looking at how things might develop, not that impressive yet. But don't be fooled, because overnight threats, sometimes you can be a little surprised, and perhaps that's what we could see. Maybe a little closer to sunrise. It looks as if our Fox weather model is even more delayed than what I was looking at this morning, with possibly a cluster of storms trying to form into northeastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, you made an interesting note earlier with the level 1 out of 5 threat that was issued by the SPC. Now, we've had that issued yesterday about 7 a.m., but they did expand it just a little south to include spots like Joplin and some of the major metros along that line. So I think they're really highlighting the threat for tomorrow morning. So really Tuesday's threat is Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, it's true. And Wednesday, we will have whatever forms overnight to kick off the day. But then that's when the cold front, so we will have this boundary that tries to flex just a little bit. And that's going to be the target zone for possible storms. And we do have, when we look at just the hail parameter, we've got that level 2 out of 5 threat for hail. So it's something to pay attention to. It could be a little larger than just quarter-size hail when we look at the possibility of us getting some bigger hail. It's all a matter, though, on if these storms develop. And at the moment, confidence isn't super high, but it is high enough to issue that level 2 threat. And you see where that front is. It's an environment around Dallas, actually the SPC making note of it. there will be plenty of instability for these storms to tap into if they do form.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to start off a little more scattered, and then notice how we have that upscale growth heading into the afternoon. And so when you have that, these storms cluster together, and sometimes it can produce more of a damaging wind threat or even a hail threat. But not to be mistaken, there is a chance for a couple of isolated tornadoes. They'd be fairly low end on Wednesday evening. So the afternoon, evening hours is kind of the height of Wednesday's threat. And then we watch that get carried over into Thursday, where afternoon thunderstorms are certainly possible. And then we finish things up, and I say finish, but I'm hesitant to say that word because there's still a chance for more severe weather, with a level 3 out of 5 threat. That's a recent upgrade. So a lot more confidence in especially this area along the, what corridor is that? The I-44, I-49 corridor. That could see some strong to significant storms.
And the I-35 too is going to be watched. I mean, we have this area that is very familiar with storms, and you look at how things could develop. It's something to watch until Friday, but each day we will have storms. Atmosphere recharges by Thursday and to Friday, and it's fascinating too because as we look at these multiple threats extending even toward the weekend, the Storm Prediction Center, they've already mentioned as far out as next Tuesday. So we have day 8 outlook. That's how far out the Storm Prediction Center is able to make their forecast. And they highlighted this in their text, saying on Tuesday, models forecast a strong upper level system to eject northeastward into the south central U.S. If this scenario works out, a greater severe threat appears possible Tuesday afternoon and evening over the southern and central plains. However, uncertainty is considerable at this range in the forecast period due to a relatively widespread in model guidance. So essentially, let's wait. But the fact that next Tuesday is being highlighted and Wednesday, it's worth watching.
Well, I'll tell you what, the meteorology realm, at least on X, they've been buzzing about Tuesday's event. And they've been buzzing for about 5 days now. So the models have been highlighting it, and with each and every day, if it's still in the forecast, then that confidence gets higher. So something to watch.
And sometimes all you got to do is look at the calendar and know March can bring severe weather.
Just believe March.
With the dynamics, I think that next week is one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, really, this event's starting to set up a little more like the heart of severe weather season, more April, May-like. But one thing that fuels severe storms this time of year is the heat and the excess moisture that we have. And boy, are we going to be getting a lot of moisture and heavy rain over this next week. It's all going to be funneling in from the deep south, but we could even see moisture from the Gulf and even the Pacific surging north towards the Great Lakes. I mean, that is the moisture carry that we'll be seeing over the next couple of weeks. It's a new switch in the pattern, and it is going to be a pattern. So for the next couple of weeks, it's rain and thunderstorms. That will be the lead story for most of your Fox weather shows. But with multiple days of rain, then it presents the threat for flash flooding. And the spots that we're going to be looking at right now, Texarkana. So we're talking North Texas, near Dallas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Little Rock, Arkansas, even Fayetteville, Arkansas, that'd be a zone as well. So this corridor, where it's not just one day of heavy rain, it's multiple days compounded on top of each other. But what's helping to reset the atmosphere and pump all this moisture in is a semi-permanent area of high pressure off the Atlantic coast. With a high, you have winds that move clockwise, and so it's ushering in more of that moisture coming straight out of the Gulf. But also we have, in some areas, especially next week, a little bit of moisture that's going to start to come in from the Pacific as well, and so that's creating this darker blue, and that darker blue value in here is very high moisture content in the atmosphere. And while that dry line in the frontal boundary will shift a little bit, the southeast still is staying locked in with this southerly transport. At this point, it's showing a signal of close to 8 inches of rain. Again, Texarkana is a spot to watch, but I honestly think there will be some spots that could get close to 10 inches. Some of the models have a bit of a variance on who gets that double-digit rain total, but it does seem like they're locked in at least here. It's just a matter of, does it shift towards Little Rock? Is it, or towards Dallas, or does it shift north into northeast Oklahoma?
And that's only going to be determined probably a day or 2 days out, right? Until the event ultimately sets up. The other thing is sometimes this drought monitor is like watching paint dry because we get a weekly update. So even with the rain that we're going to see this week, we're not really going to know the impacts that it has until next Thursday, because it's every Thursday that we see the drought monitor come out. But it is worth mentioning that this place in this region of the country has been notably dry. So let's bring on the rain. I mean, There's a reason why they call it spring showers, right?
Yeah, that's true. So hopefully a lot of flowers. I know in Texas it's the wildflower season. You're probably familiar with that. LBJ dropped a bunch of wildflower seeds when she was First Lady, and so it's cool to watch that grow.
They
you need
grow.
the rain to get all the plant life.
With the temperatures warming up, it gets you outside.
It does.
Much needed too. It's much needed in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Wish we could get outside and see some of those flowers, but just not yet. Takes a little bit more time. If you did get outside, it was more of a messy mix, right? Freezing rain, sleet, even some snow. Only minor issues that we're tracking on the roads this morning. Nothing too significant, mostly just a nuisance, but we'll give you a live look outside New York City, waiting on some of that light snow to move in. It's a matter of time. I think that we'll see some moisture, but if they do, in fact, produce flakes over the city, I think it's going to turn into all rain. Not too hopeful that we'll see a bunch of snow. But the snow and ice, that threat moving north, we did have flakes fly, making a return to the suburbs in Baltimore, Maryland on Monday. Mostly what we call snow for show, where the snow falls, but then it's just gone. It just accumulates very little. This was in Glen Burnie. So the snow was falling, and we had the moisture available, at least the mid-levels, upper levels of the atmosphere, cold enough to support that snow growth. But then at the surface, when those temperatures are just a little above freezing, it's not going to stick. That snow's not. And this morning on radar, we've got a smattering, right? The green is rain, the ice, the sleet, and the freezing rain, a pink and purple combination on our radar here. And then the filter, the blue color, is snow. So what we're generally seeing here is that it starts as snow, transition to some ice, and then we get rain. And that's been the overall going theme. In fact, looking at this map just a few hours ago, a handful of freezing rain reports, and now we have several snow reports too. These are over the past 6 hours, so numerous reports coming in. When we look at the snow reports just out of the state of Maryland alone, because we were just looking at one of the suburbs of Baltimore, anywhere between 1.5 inches to 2 inches of snow, so not a huge deal, but certainly notable. The fact that technically plowable snow did fall. And nothing like what we're dealing with in Virginia, though. 33 degrees. This is right through the Appalachians. We'll continue with that snow for maybe the next few hours before it ultimately wraps up. But ultimately, when we're looking at where the alerts are set and where we could be dealing with the risk, the winter weather advisories, they remain in effect. And we'll watch as this snow might change over to some rain later in the afternoon. For higher elevations, no doubt along the 95 corridor, we are going to see it be all rain. So as we watch this departing storm, March signaling change for a lot of others, even forecasters. The National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center will have some tweaks to their convective outlooks. It's very much in the weeds, but since you're watching Fox Weather, we're going to get into the weeds next hour. Stick around. We're going to break it all down after the break. Weather Command will be right back.
I got served a little bit too much of that poison, baby. Last night I did things I'm not proud of, and I got a little crazy. Last night I met a guy on the dance floor, and I let him call me baby.
Your data is like a single domino. The moment it's stolen, it starts a chain reaction that puts the information that guards your assets at risk. 1 in 3 Americans have been a victim of identity theft. Are you willing to risk it?
When I saw zeros on that screen as my bank account balance, I went to immediate panic.
$21,000 just gone.
I opened my account and $30,000 is missing. Like $30,000. I have no idea what to do.
If your personal information is stolen, are you prepared to pick up the pieces alone? LifeLock is the leader in identity theft protection and restoration.
Once LifeLock got involved, everything changed.